Hello and welcome, sports fans, to this live stream event from Table Rock Sports Productions in partnership with our local school districts and outstanding sponsors who make these live presentations possible. I'm Jim McCoy, along with Mark McLemore, Johnny McCoy on the camera, coming to you live from South Umpqua High School in Myrtle Creek, Oregon. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the Lithia Superstore pregame show, powered by Siskiyou Cellular in Southern Oregon, and featuring the South Umpqua Lancers versus the Cascade Christian Challengers. We're pleased to bring you this game on TableRockSports.net in partnership with the Grace Cascade Christian School District and our sponsor, Business Partners. Joe Brett is the executive producer for this event. Our sponsors keep these events free for fans to enjoy. Please let them know you appreciate their support. Please help Table Rock Sports by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and thank you if you already have. Well, here, this portion of the pregame show brought to you by Bill's Glass. Bill's Glass is the clear choice in Southern Oregon for almost 50 years. And, Mark, going into this game, it's the regular season finale. And I think this is one of those games, along with the Lakeview game, that a lot of myself, you, and a lot of fans have had circled on their calendars as being, I think, a really good test. I think we can safely say going into tonight's game, neither one, they've had all the same opponents. They'll be facing a team that is unlike any other they've seen this year.
Well, really, that's true. I mean, you know, you look at the Challengers this year, and they have cruised as you look through their schedule now. Obviously, that first game against North Valley was a 29-6 game, was really one of the closest games of the year, along with the Lakeview game that you mentioned, 35-7. The South Umpqua Lancers and Challengers have sort of been battling for the conference title the last several years, and so we knew this game was going to be one of those games that I'm sure the Challengers had circled on their calendar, too, to be, you know, it's the last game of the season. You want to end going into the playoffs on a win, obviously, taking that momentum with you. And really, for Cascade, they've already won the league championship.
Right.
The outcome of this game for them doesn't matter because the only other team that has one loss in the league is Lakeview, and obviously the Challengers beat Lakeview, so they would be the number one seed no matter what happens in this game. But you want that momentum going into the playoffs. And also for the Challengers, really, it's a seeding game, too. I mean, don't forget about that. Right now, the Challengers number 4 in the state ranking so far, and they have an opportunity probably to move up. If you look at the teams ahead of them, number 1 currently is Dayton in the 3A, and then behind them is the 2 teams out of the Special District 1, Kennedy and Banks. So Banks being the number 2 seed, Kennedy being the number 3 seed. Now, Kennedy has a loss. The Challengers do not. And I think, you know, looking at the situation here, if the Challengers can beat a team right here that's ranked, I think, number 13 or 11, excuse me, in the OSAA right now, beat a number 11 ranked team, they would probably have a good chance of sliding into that number 3 spot instead of the number 4 spot they're in currently.
I think we got the national anthem going, so we'll power that up now. So there you have it, the South Umpqua marching band performing our national anthem.
And
talking about playing, go ahead.
Just to finish my thought real quick. So if you're the challengers and you win this game, you have a chance to move up, but even if you don't, you'll stay in the top 4. And that's really the key. You want to be in the top 4, because if you're in the top 4, obviously you get a first round and second round if you win the first round, home game in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And then after that, it's neutral site anyway, so It doesn't really matter. But the challengers will get a couple of home playoff games if they can come out with a win tonight. And I think that's got to be a big motivation for them.
Well, in these last few years that they've been playing each other, you can see with South Umpqua, a team that is really a program that Coach Stebbins has done a nice job of building. You can remember a couple of shutout victories early on as the 2 programs ended up in the same league. And then after that win in the spring of 2021, the COVID season, South Umpqua really came into its own in 2022. You'll recall for that season, the Lancers were the state runner-ups, losing to Siuslaw in the championship game. But on the road to that championship, they took down the challengers on Cascade Christian's homecoming night on a rainy Friday night and ended up winning that ball game. Then you turn around last year, challengers again have the Lancers at home. In this situation, the challengers take the win as they go on, and they end up kind of turning the tables a little bit and win a state championship. Right now, the challengers gunning for their 21st consecutive victory. Their loss to Siuslaw, I believe that was the quarterfinals of the 2021 season in the fall. That was the last loss that they've incurred. And I'm sure, again, you talking about at this point, as far as the challengers are concerned, they're already number 1.
And who was that loss to? Do you remember?
That would have been to
Siuslaw, right? Yeah. Who was the team that played South Umpqua in that championship game that you mentioned. So it's been a while for the challengers for a loss. And tonight, they got a good opportunity to extend that streak, and they're going to start off playing defense like they like to. They won the toss and they deferred to the second half, so their usual choice when they do win the toss. And so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out for Cascade Christian.
Well, we've talked about how maybe one of the ways you can really put the challengers to the test is to have success up the middle in the ground game with Jacob Logan at running back, 5'10", 200-pound senior. He gives them that kind of capability. What will be interesting is to watch the battle in the trenches to see whether they can assist him a little bit by breaking some holes open. The challengers, meanwhile, defensively, what they've lived off of defensively is making big plays. The teams will get off to good starts against the challengers. Maybe they'll drive the ball down the field and then they'll have a turnover, and it seems like it opens the floodgates. So it'll be, and I think as well, the Lancers are our team, probably more so than any other team they've seen this year. This is a team that is not afraid to throw the football.
No, they're not, and they're usually fairly good at it from what we've seen over the last several years. So it's a team that's going to match some of the challengers' athleticism with a bunch of athletes on the other side of the ball. And really, other than that Lakeview game, I don't think any of the other teams in the league are going to have the same level of athletic ability on the other side of the ball.
Absolutely. Back deep to receive will be Jacob Logan along with number 34, Paul Marlowe. The Hayes in the barn, and the ball will bounce back to the end zone. Alex Fianaka doing his thing there. And let's go ahead and take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's ball game. First of all, for the Lancers, they'll look like this. At quarterback will be Elijah Earls, Jacob Logan in the backfield with them. The receivers, Casey Benefill, Drew Camp. H-back is Loudon Cole, and the tight end is Paul Marlowe. The offensive line, Alex Hees, Connor Lucier, Hayden Howard, Austin Conkling, and Timothy Furch. First down and 10. They'll go ahead and hand to Logan. Logan's going to try out the left side. He gets out across the 20-yard line out to the 22. Let's go ahead and meet the challenger defense. And this will look like this. Alex Fianaka, Cole Breitler, and Sam Seiss up front. Linebackers Ashton Moody, Mason Hoffman, and Brendan Van Wart. Nickel look this evening with Dylan Westlake and Kellen Klecker at the corners. Safeties Luke Wilson, Peyton Maurer, and Derek Farmer.
And we see similar formations from South Umpqua that you'll see from the Challengers. A pistol set with sometimes 2 tight ends, sometimes a slot guy, and 2 wide receivers.
So second down. And once again, they're going to try to power their way up through the heart of that Challenger defense.
That's Earls on the keeper that time. He went back to pass, and then he just kind of took off and picked up a few yards there. And we got some sort of penalty, looks like.
Flag on the play.
It's a holding penalty, it looks like, against the Lancers. So that run is nullified. A nice run, actually, by Earls, as he looks like he can definitely run with the football. He's not afraid to do it, and he picked up a nice gain on that before the penalty negated it.
Well, a battle of lefties this evening, so it'll be a second down and 13. You have Earls and then Ashton Moody for the Challengers. This will be a second and long. Earl's going to drop back, look to throw, and back there to try to make a play on it defensively is Peyton Maurer, and we have a flag on the play.
And that one's going to go on Peyton, as he did not look back for the football. We've talked about that before. You know, if you're a defender and you don't look back for the football and you run into the receiver, 9 times out of 10 you're going to get the penalty flag, and that's what we saw there from Peyton Maurer, and I think that's a good call by the officials.
So with that, so penalties giveth and penalties taketh away. And Mark, I may be mistaken, but I think this is the first time a flag has been thrown on Peyton defensively this year.
Yeah, that I'm aware of as well, but not a good sign for the Challengers there with the pass interference penalty. I don't think it's quite going to give them a... Remember, they had a 10-yard penalty, so
right.
Trying to figure out if this is a first down or not. It looks like it's short.
Looks like, yeah, it'll be 3 yards short of the first down.
So it'll be second down after all that. Second down and about 4, it looks like.
So you got Logan in the backfield along with Earls. And they run almost kind of a pro-style set. And going in motion is Camp.
And he gets the football.
Camp's going to go ahead and run up the far sideline, get some running room to the outside. And the Lancers will move the sticks.
Yeah, nice job of getting around the edge, and Challengers not keeping the edge. And there's a first down, first one of the game for the Lancers.
So we're just right here on the opening drive of the ball game. If you just happen to be tuning in, the Challengers coming in with an unblemished 8-0 record. One of the stingiest, if not the stingiest defense in the state, only 33 points surrendered on the year. South Umpqua coming in at 6-2. But honestly, sometimes I think this is a team that's better than the record indicates. And the record's pretty good. So they're going to go ahead and throw the ball, and looking in the direction of Camp. And we've got Luke Wilson there on the coverage. And that'll bring up a second down and 10, or should I say that he's become... You remember the whole thing with Sid Finch, the fictitious April Fool's baseball product several years ago? Well, you see, somebody made a mistake somewhere, and suddenly Luke Wilson became Luke Nelson, this unknown player out of nowhere. Yeah, be sure it is Luke Wilson, and he's been around for a while, and he made a play there defensively, as now the Lancers find themselves in a second down and 10.
And Earls had to get rid of that ball way earlier than he wanted to as well because of the Challenger rush.
Toss play. Logan to the outside, but wrapped up defensively by the Challengers. Once again, is that Luke Nelson guy.
Yeah, Luke Nelson, Wilson, whatever you want to call him. Made a nice play for a loss of a couple yards.
So loss of 2, they're going to say, and that'll bring up a third down and 12. 9:40 and counting to go in the first quarter of play.
And that's one thing, we generally see with that Challenger defense is they're not going to let you run around them. You got to run through the middle if you're going to run the football against them. And most of the time they do a good job of keeping the edge and not letting you run outside of the containment.
3rd down and 12. And Earls gets some pressure coming from Derek Farmer. His pass intended for Marlowe comes up just a little bit short. Back there defensively for the Challengers is Kellen Klecker, and that'll bring up 4th down. And for those Lancer fans watching along the way, well, you're seeing kind of the MO of the Challenger defense. Defensive coordinator Mike Sean, Roseburg product. He'll send all kinds of numbers at you throughout the evening.
Yes, he will. He's not afraid to do it. So you're going to see a lot of blitzes from a lot of different places for the Challengers. That time, one of the linebackers, Derek Farmer, on the blitz and does a good job of rushing the quarterback Earls and incompletion results. And the Challengers going to get the football back here, it looks like.
Getting ready to kick it away, Drew Camp. Snap a little bit high. Lefty boot. And there to take it is Scaglione at his 35-yard line. He's going to go ahead and run it out to the far side of the field.
He's got a wall out there.
He ran back, went back for a touchdown last week, and he's got real estate. He's got a couple of men to beat, and he gets the ball inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, down inside the 10 at the 5, but the whistles are blowing. Do we have a flag over on the side? Trying to see if there's a flag over there. There's some discussion going on between the referee and a couple of the guys, and it looks like there is some sort of penalty because the ball's coming back.
So a potential break for the Lancers here, Scaglione, and that's going to be the thing to me. I'm watching tonight. I'm watching that power that the Lancers have in their trenches, and then to counter that, the Challengers have speed, lots of it.
So about a 15-yard punt return prior to the penalty for Scaglione, and then there's going to mark off a 10-yard, I'm assuming a block in the back against the Challengers. So that's the second penalty now against Cascade. And the Challengers will get the ball right around the 42-yard line.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the starting offense for the Challengers. They'll come out with Ashton Moody at quarterbacks, Caleb Scaglione in the backfield. The receivers are Maurer, Wilson, Freilich, and Farmer. The line, Nips, Breitler, Seiss, Luke Ryder, and Mason Hoffman. 1st down and 10 for the Challengers. Moody out of the gun, looking left, completes the pass for Maurer.
Yeah, it looks like he got about 5 or 6 yards on the player.
All right, let's look at that defense for the Lancers, and they'll line up like this. It'll be Alex Hees, Timothy Perch, and Connor Lucier up front. Moving linebackers, Jacob Logan, Landon Bauer, David Logan, and Matthew Burnett. The secondary, Benefiel, Camp, Cole, and Mason Johnson. So 2nd down and 4. And we have a flag on the play. Flag coming out at the 48-yard line.
What is the flag about?
It looks like he's waving it off.
Well, I think the coach is declining the penalty. It was a false start or illegal formation, really, is what it was against the Challengers. That's going to be declined because of the loss of yardage on the play.
So both teams kind of a tough start here for both teams. We got a 3rd down.
3rd and long now for the Challengers. About 8 to go.
Going in motion is Freilich. And the whistle blows.
And we have another false start penalty against the Challengers. They are looking rough here to start.
Not the kind of start you're looking for. when you're playing the season finale on the road.
No, and definitely not the start you're looking for in a game that you want to win to improve your ranking position.
So that'll move them back. And it'll give us a 3rd down and 13. Moody with trips to the right. He'll look right. Pass intended for Maurer. Maurer makes the catch, and he should have enough for a 1st down.
Yeah, 17 yards on the completion and a nice throw. Ashton Moody actually threw that ball before Maurer broke. Maurer breaks, and the ball's there. What a beautiful throw by Moody that time.
Well, I tell you, that's the thing, that by the time you get this juncture in the season, you begin to get that timing down. Maurer coming in, the leading receiver on the team with 37 catches on the season. Wilson going in motion, and he's going to go ahead and take it on the sweep. And we have a flag coming in on the play.
Boy, it's flag city so far in this one. The Challengers can't do anything without a flag being thrown. And let's see what we got here. So I think there might be 2 flags because there's a discussion maybe about the second one possibly. Well, there is 2 flags, holding against the offense and false start. So they're going to take the holding penalty. And so far the Challengers already with 4 penalties, and we're just a few minutes into the first quarter. 4 penalties so far for 40 yards against Cascade Christian here early.
That's what you call a mess.
Well, it is. And
But, I think some of what plays into this is that there's been some injuries along that line the last few weeks, and you can't help but wonder if just they haven't got that sense of timing back.
Well, it certainly could be part of it, but the other thing is you got to remember that different officiating groups will call things a little differently in different places across the state, so it could be some of that too, and you've got to figure that out as an offensive player.
Against the pressure, Moody uncorks the pass, complete to Maurer. Maurer has one man to beat. Maurer gets it all the way down inside the 5-yard line.
And on the tunnel screen, you got to love it, but do we have a flag again? Trying to look back here.
You kind of get gun-shy after a little while.
Well, we have a referee standing out here in the middle of the field, and I'm kind of wondering if what's going on with that. There is a flag thrown that they're picking up. Okay.
All right. So 1st and goal for Cascade.
Jeez Louise.
Down at the
I don't
5.
know what the deal was, but down to the 5-yard line. So about a 55-yard tunnel screen there to Maurer.
And that'll bring up a 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. Moody with Scaglione in the backfield behind him. Trips out to the left. And Peyton Maurer, the lone man, to the right. And then Scaglione.
Right up the middle for a touchdown.
Touchdown, Challenger.
From 4 yards out.
So we have captured that for you. We'll show you the replay there. But Scaglione pretty much got in there untouched.
Yeah, nice job by the Challenger offensive line. Opened up a little hole for him, and he gets in there with 6:52 left to go here in the first quarter. So kind of a rough drive for the Challengers, but they figure out how to finish it off.
Not a lot of style points. Now getting ready to attempt the point after will be Mason Hoffman out of the hold of Ashton Moody. 6:52 to go here in the first. And a little bit of trouble there. And, oh, my goodness, what?
A mess.
It has been an
Adventures
adventure in special teams.
It certainly has.
All right. Well, after all that, we'll take a quick timeout. The Challengers take the early 6-0 lead. We'll be back in 1 minute here on TableRockSports.net.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Come enjoy the patio weather and a brand new menu at Tap Rock Northwest Grill, where friends and family gather and memories are made. Come visit us today or visit our website.
In the cold.
Here at South Umpqua, the Challengers getting ready to kick it away after Caleb Scaglione puts his team out front on a roughly 5-yard touchdown run. Alex Fianaka getting ready to kick it away to Camp, and Logan's going to let that go by, and Fianaka just gets them deeper and deeper week after week.
Well, I think he must be feeling a little better, too, because there were a few weeks there where he's having trouble getting him in the end zone, but not tonight. And maybe we have a little bit of breeze from left to right as you watch the game with us tonight, as those are carrying into the end zone fairly easily for him. Maybe the football's a little harder, as cold as it is, too. Who knows?
It is. I tell you what, it is cold here. Fueled up in Canyonville on the way up, and I was like, whoo!
Well, it's that sort of damp cold, too. Some of that has to do, I think, with you get a little further north, the humidity's a little higher.
And the elevation's lower here, too.
Yes, exactly. So not quite as dry. So the Lancers come out 1st and 10 from their own 20.
6:52 to go on the first quarter of play. Lining up as a tight end is Marlowe. Going in motion is Camp to the right side. And Earl looking to throw. Goes up in the air with it. And the ball pops loose at the last moment. Had a man there. And trying to pick out the number of the intended target there.
And I think we have another flag, believe it or not, on the field out there, it looks like. Let's see what we got. False start against the Lancers. Are the Challengers going to take that? I would think I would decline it if I was the Challengers. And they are going to decline it.
So that'll bring up a second down
and 10.
So Lancers. And again, unlike I think any team we've seen, Mark, so far this year, this team is purposing to throw the ball early tonight and try to see if they can't put some of those star receivers they have to work.
Well, so far, Earl's 0 for 3, so they haven't been very successful trying it. But again, the Challenger coverage has been good.
Earls. And now in the slot on the right side is Loudon Cole. And they'll go ahead and hand it off to Logan. Logan gets slowed up by Christopher Freilich.
But he gets about 6 yards on the carry.
So that'll put the Lancers in a 3rd and manageable.
3rd and 4.
And when you're a team that is as diverse as the Lancers are, you've got a pretty wide open playbook here.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if they don't try to run for it, though, to be honest with you. They've got those big linemen up front. They just need the 4 yards. Let's see what they end up doing here.
Going in motion, coming back around is Cole. Now a little bit of pressure, but Earl's going to go ahead and try to complete the pass, and it's almost picked off by Wilson. It'll bring up 4th down.
And he had a guy down there. He had Drew Camp was wide open down the field. After he pulled the ball down to run, it almost like Drew Camp came wide open, and unfortunately, he couldn't get the ball. Looked like it kind of slipped out of Earl's hands, as you know, and he kind of threw a pop fly, I guess I would call it, down the field there, and that gave Luke Wilson enough time to get back and make a play on the football. Otherwise, could have been a big play for South Umpqua.
So I think defensively, some of what we're seeing is that Challenger pressure coming into play.
Oh, absolutely.
A little bit of a high snap there, but Camp reels it in and kicks it away. Ball's going to land on the turf, get past Scaglione, and it'll land at the 30-yard line. And that's where the Challengers will take over.
Yeah, Scaglione thought about getting that thing, but took a couple of funny bounces. And remember, up here, you're not on the AstroTurf up here. It's grass, and you never know which way that ball is going to bounce. So I think ultimately he did a good job of just getting out of the way. So the Lancers go out again, and the Challengers get a stop and get the football back here, leading 6-0.
So far, the name of the game has been some penalties and a couple of big plays for the Challengers. And again, we'll just kind of see how they adjust through the night, because that's the thing. If the officiating varies a little bit from town to town, you make the adjustments, and they got trips out to the left. Moody pumps, throws, looking downfield, and just beyond his intended target.
Just overthrows Luke Wilson down the field there.
So that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Last week against St. Mary's, Moody only threw 5 passes, but he went for 130 yards.
On those 5 passes, yeah. They ran that play against St. Mary's and very successfully for a big play against the Crusaders, but good coverage down the field that time by South Umpqua.
I'll get the ball to Scaglione. Scaglione, good second effort there. He'll get the ball up to about the 37, 38-yard line. So that'll give them a 3rd and short.
It's about 6 yards on the carry. 3rd and 4, 3 or 4 here.
.5:14 left to go in the first. Wilson in motion, and Wilson gets the catch there. And the Challengers on the short pass play will get it out over the 40-yard line up to about the 43, and they'll pick up a fresh set of downs.
Yep. A nice little play that time. South Umpqua, with all their guys in at the line, were looking like they were sure the Challengers were going to run the football up the middle, and good little swing pass out to Wilson. Picks up 6 yards in the first down.
Wilson coming into the game with 15 catches for 215 yards. Pair of touchdown catches on the year. On first down, give to Scaglione. Scaglione will get it out to about the 45, and not a heck of a lot more than that.
Couple yards on the play. Challengers trying to pick up the tempo a little bit, it looks like, here against the Lancers. They like to do that when they kind of get some offensive rhythm going.
Moody with Scaglione, twins on either side of the line in the 4-receiver set. Pass complete. And that might be that.
That's that hitch pattern. I think Luke Wilson out there, or maybe.
Wasn't sure whether it was him or whether it was.
Whoever it was, 8 yards for the Challengers and another first down.
Well, we'll just say the pass was complete.
There you go.
And
the field's a bit dark out here in certain spots for us to see.
Yes.
Oh.
And now pass just kind of tried to do a quick hitter there, and that didn't quite work out.
Yeah, threw it a little behind. That was Luke Wilson out here. I could see his number that time. A little behind him. He's not able to get that one. And
so that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. Challengers. This has been one of the few games, granted it's early on, but one of the few games where they've actually somewhat had an edge in time of possession in the game.
Yeah, true.
Sure didn't have that last week. And they're going to go ahead and swing it over to Maurer. Maurer running into a crowd, and he'll take it up to about the 45-yard line. So we'll give him about 3 on the play. Loudon Cole making the stop for South Umpqua.
Third down now for the Challengers. 3rd and about 8.
Maurer and Wilson on the right side. Over on the left, we got Freilich, and we have a whistle before the play gets going.
Somebody has too many people on the field, I think.
Oops.
Oh, nope, never mind. False start against the Challengers. Another 5 yards against Cascade Christian. Now it's third and really long. But I think if you're Coach Getman here, if you can get 8-10 yards, you're probably going for it anyway.
Right.
On fourth down. So let's see what the Challengers do here.
So third and long for Cascade Christian at the 40-yard line of the Lancers. Moody looking, catching the pass is Scaglione, but he's immediately hit. He's there, and it'll bring up fourth down.
Yeah, lost about 4 yards. That was a screen pass the Challengers tried to run. Read very well by South Umpqua, and brings up fourth and long now. And I think if you're the Challengers, you punt the football. And it looks like that's what they're going to do. Moody's back in punt formation.
Loudon Cole back deep to receive for the Lancers. Moody, kind of a high short kick, and will end up landing at about the 27, 28-yard line, and the Lancers get it back.
Yeah, very short kick, as you mentioned. And Moody, he's limping a little bit. I think the Challengers going to have to keep an eye on that situation. And I know, normally the backup quarterback would be Derek Farmer, who has a cast on his hand too. So probably looking at Skaggs, I would think, would be probably more than likely the backup for the Challengers for this game. 2:12 to go here in the first quarter. Challengers lead it. And you mentioned it's been kind of a sloppy game on a somewhat sloppy field.
Right.
And lots of penalties for both teams so far.
Earl's at quarterback with Jacob Logan. The back behind him. He tries to take off and run, but Mason Hoffman slows him up, and Brendan Van Wart finishes him off.
And he picks up a couple 3 yards, I think.
So that'll bring up, we'll call it a 2nd down and 7 for the Lancers with 1:48 here to go in the first. 6-0 ball game. Earls, and the ball's loose on the ground. Who recovers? Of course, both teams will claim they got it.
Fianaka in there for the Challengers, but I think the Lancers recovered it. So
loss
really,
of about one
loss of one on the play.
So they dodge a bullet there, and that's where the Challengers defensively have been living large this year, is creating turnovers. 1:08 to go in the first. Earls.
Looked like a quarterback draw, and the Challengers just collapsed on him. He lost about 4 yards on the play.
So inside a minute to go. And it looks like the Lancers will get ready to kick it away. And if I'm not mistaken, this is their third punt.
It is. They've only got one first down so far, and that was with the help of the 15-yard pass interference penalty by the Challengers.
And back deep to receive for Cascade as the punt returner is Caleb Scaglione. Again, snap a little bit high, but Kemp gathers himself, and this one will hit just about midfield. Scaglione ran in on it, fielded it on the bounce. He's looking like a guy, Mark, would be a good one for the baseball team.
Yeah, he got that one on the bounce and went right up the middle for about a 10-yard little punt return there. And since the Challengers up in great field position at the Lancer 40.
So 9 seconds left to go here in the first quarter of play.
Both teams kind of, other than that one drive by the Challengers, both teams kind of battling each other in the middle of the field.
Yeah, we've just been kind of back and forth, and our apologies for the pillars. There's just not really anything
we can do about that.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think they would like us cutting them down.
No, probably wouldn't last very long either.
Nope. Pass complete from Moody to Maurer. Maurer makes the catch. He gets it across the 25-yard line down to the 23.
17-yard play there for Maurer. And so far, he's making some big plays for the Challengers here early.
2 seconds left to go, and, well, we hear the siren sound, and that will mark the end of the first quarter of play. After one, the Challengers lead in the ball game, 6-0. We'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Jeep Adventure Days at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. Choose from our great inventory of new 23 Jeep Gladiator and Cherokee 4x4 models, or test drive a new 23 Ram 1500 4x4. Shop online today with our online process to calculate your own payment, whether it's a lease, finance, or cash payment. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Your pillar comment was funny. She gave me the old ha-ha.
Well, we're getting ready here to start the second quarter. Jim McCoy along with Mark McLemore, Johnny McCoy bringing you the action. And right now, you know, it's been a little bit of a standoff. I suppose you could look at it and say to some measure the Challengers have had a little more success moving the football, but the difficulty is they've been shooting themselves in the foot with penalties.
They really have. You know, they've already got 5 penalties in this one for 40 yards, as we mentioned earlier. However, this drive's been better since they got the football back, a couple plays here, and gotten themselves down almost to the red zone here on the 23-yard line, and really an opportunity for them to take control of this game and make it a 2-score game here. Challengers' defense, again, has been the story, really. What's going on? And the Challengers take a timeout right after the quarter break. That's kind of weird.
That is very bizarre. Well, I guess that gives us an opportunity to welcome Solar Pros and owner Mason Mahaffey to our sponsorship team. Solar Pros can save you thousands on your home solar panels installation. Check out their Facebook page to learn more. Search Facebook Solar Pros PNW.
So the Challengers must not have liked something they saw on defense, I guess, there, or maybe they weren't decided on the play that they were going to run, and they called timeout right after the quarter break, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird situation. That's just one of those ones where you wish you could have somebody mic'd up and have a little bit of insight into the situation.
Yeah, you wonder if maybe the play they had was they wanted to run it to the wide side of the field, and who knows.
Split out wide to the left is Derek Farmer. The slot on his side is Christopher Freilich. Pair of receivers out to the right side. And actually now I kind of see they have trips. One thing I'm missing with the post is Wilson as the inside slot. They're going to go ahead and throw it to the right side. Little pitch and catch. Christopher Freilich.
Nice job. They faked the screen again and they hit Freilich on the touchdown. That's the one where he fakes the block, and actually that might have been Scaglione. Can you check that number when you're doing the replay there, Jim?
Yeah. Let's see what that looks like there. So we'll run the play here. Kind of a little jump ball. And I think you're right. That might be Scaglione.
I think it was Scaglione on the 23-yard. And then they go for 2 right up the middle, and it looks like it's good. We don't see any signal from the referee, and it is finally good.
All right, so the 2-point conversion, it's just been that kind of night, folks.
It certainly has.
So Challengers lead in the ball game by a score of 14-0. We'll take a 1-minute timeout, and we'll be back with more football action here on TableRockSports.net.
Thanks for the ride. I'll see you after the game.
Hey, Dear Katie, I've been your #1 fan since I watched your first game all those years ago, and I still love watching you play. But I wanted to see you win so badly that my competitive nature got the best of me. I lost track of what's important. I thought I was supporting you, but I was really just embarrassing you. I'm not your coach, and I'm not an official. I forgot my role. I'm your parent, and you deserve better. From here on, I promise to keep my emotions under control. I'll cheer for you and all the other players, no matter the score, no matter the outcome. Thank you for sharing with me how I can do a better job of supporting you, your team, your coaches, and the sports you love. Still your number one fan. Love, Dad.
Fianaka kicks it away. And Logan will run it out. And we have a flag on the play.
What is the flag for?
I was going to say, did that look like just on gut reaction, it looked like it was kind of like a horse collar tackle.
Was it, you think?
Because it just looked like he was running along, he run out, and then just,
yeah.
His feet just kind of blew up in the air. So we'll see, because now a call like that on a horse collar, what they would. It's a penalty against the Lancers.
I was going to say it might be a block in the back.
Yeah.
That would be the other thing I would guess, and it is. It looks like a block in the back.
So here in the audience tonight, we saw David Martin here this evening. You may remember Sam Martin, his son, guiding the Challengers through the spring 2021 season. He was a Roseburg product, David was, and up here watching his nephews play.
Yeah, nice to see him. Always nice to see him. Coached our baseball team for several years with him at Cascade.
So the ball back at the 17-yard line. Logan in the backfield, and they're going to go ahead and hand it to number 11. That's Casey Benefell. Benefell, good pick up there as he takes it to the left edge.
On the fly sweep and picks up about 8. So 21 yards total in the game so far for the Lancers. The Challengers with 135 yards, most of that, 127 of that 135 passing.
Lancers.
Looks like they give the ball that time to Logan. Did he get the first down? He's awful close. And they're going to give it to him, I think. Yes, they are. So give him a couple of yards and a first down on the carry.
So the Lancers, they trail 14-0. They've definitely had their moments, and you can see some of the things that they want to try to do against the Challengers this evening. I think once again, with Coach Sean and all of his blitzes, it has created some headaches. And there, that pass, Loudon Cole can't quite get there, and it brings up a 2nd down and 10. .39 left to go here in the first half of play. For you Challenger fans watching along the way on NFHS, tomorrow you can catch Cascade Christian in their playoff opener against Westside Christian, and that will be at 12 noon. Earls getting some pressure here.
Screen pass to the tight end, I think.
And bringing it out to the outside. Reception made.
I think it was.
I thought it might have been
Elrod.
Logan. Or was it Elrod?
I think it was. Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
One or the other. It's so hard to tell.
It'll bring up a 3rd down and 5. What we can tell you is the Lancers picked up 5 out of that.
First completion of the night so far for Earls. Challenger defense has been stellar so far.
Earls out of the gun. Initially looking right, looking like he might try to take off. But there for the Challengers, Christopher Freilich defensively. And that'll bring up 4th down. So the Challenger defense, Mark, they've answered the bell this evening.
Well, and they usually do all season long. You mentioned it earlier, giving up fewest number of points in the state in 3A. And I tell you what, the defense, when the offense has sputtered, which it kind of has a little bit in this first half, the defense has been stable, and that's really what's kept the Challengers in most of these games early. as it seems to have taken the offense in many different cases some time to get, going.
Left-footed. Kicker is Camp. On the return, Caleb Scaglione. He'll get it out across the 40-yard line out to about the 43.
So again, the Challenger defense holds, and the offense gets the football back, this time leading 14-0 with 9:31 to go here in the second quarter. And we mentioned it, a kind of cool evening here in the Roseburg area.
Southern Douglas County. This was a home for my family and I for a few years back in the late 90s and early 2000s. Moody. Little movement there on the line. Looking like they might do a little long count here. Moody hands the ball to Scaglione. Not a heck of a lot happening there. Mark, you've mentioned it. The Challengers really have done most of their damage in the passing game.
Yeah, they've only got 10 yards of rushing so far unofficially. 127 yards through the air. Doing most of the damage has been Maurer. And, he's done a lot of damage against them. And Luke Wilson has done his share as well. And Scaglione again, really for no gain that time.
So for the Challengers, it's not for lack of trying, but now they'll bring up in the third down and long. I imagine, of course, part of the thinking there is you're trying to keep the defense honest.
Well, and you're counting guys in the box. You're supposed to be anyway. And the Lancers, though, seem to have a lot of guys in the box. So I'm kind of surprised the Challengers are trying to run it as much as they are.
Man in motion is Luke Wilson to the left side. Moody rolls left, looks downfield, has Derek Farmer. Farmer looks like he should. That looked like he had both feet in. Mark.
Well, at least one. And they're going to call him out of bounds. Surprise, surprise, surprise. If you know what I mean.
Yes, that'll bring up fourth down.
And that's one the Challengers are going to look at on film and go, we got robbed. Because to be honest,
saw one
there's
down.
at least 1 foot down. And remember, in high school and college, you only need one.
Yeah.
So no matter how you're looking at it, that was a catch. And it's very unfortunate for the Challengers to have to punt the ball here when they should have had a first down. But, when you come up here to this area, like we mentioned, there's different refereeing going on. And unfortunately right there, they took one away from the Challengers.
Fourth down, Challengers kicking it away. Line of scrimmage, their own 43. This will bounce and hit the turf. Cole with it. But there immediately is Christopher Freilich, who has been something of a tackling machine this evening.
Yeah, so the Challengers forced to punt. And a nice catch that time by Derek Farmer, and unfortunately erased by the officials.
8:10 left to go on the half. Challengers leading the ball game by a score of 14-0. Before or after the game is a great time to visit Dutch Bros and enjoy your favorite beverage. When you stop to get your Dutch love, please tell them thanks for sponsoring these live athletic streams on Table Rock Sports. So the Lancers get it back, and
8 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the first half, and ball turns back over to the Lancers.
Elijah Earl, senior quarterback. Seems like it's been a million years since the Lancers had a quarterback not named Johnson.
Yeah.
On first down, they'll go ahead and hand it off. Getting some running room there is Logan. Logan, nice gain on first down.
Nice job of Luke Wilson, because if he doesn't make that play, who knows how far Logan is going to go.
He had a good head of steam picked up there, and that'll pick up another first down for the South Umpqua Lancers.
Their third of the first half.
Shotgun lick, single setback.
And I think we got a false start here.
We have seen our share of laundry this evening, and right you are, Mark.
Oh, it's been prevalent. The third penalty now against the Lancers, and the Challengers now with 5 here in the first half.
That's usually a whole game for them.
Yeah, not typically in the 5 to 7 range for the Challengers of what we've seen so far.
Not quite like that game we had over in Lakeview a few years ago where there was 17 of them.
Yeah.
I think accepted penalties.
And there was probably three or four that weren't accepted.
Yeah. But here, Lancers find themselves in a 2nd and long. Logan in the backfield. They'll go ahead, little pitch and catch, but
that's going to be a loss of yards. That's one of those ones, if you have to go down to your knees, you might as well drop it because you know it's going to be a loss of yardage there.
So that Lancer passing game, you can see what they're trying to do there. They just haven't had the success that they were hoping for with it.
Yeah, 2 completions for 3 yards so far. So Challengers have done a good job defensively, except they got no one out here on the slot receiver on this side. So hopefully they fix that.
Benefill, the wideout split wide. Looks like Marlowe there in the slot. Earl's going to wind it up and fire. And trying to come in on it. It looked like Scaglione.
And there's another flag, and this one I don't know what's going on with this. Another flag, and I think they're going to call pass interference against the Challengers, I think.
Well, if it had to have been early, because I was looking at as the pass was being thrown, and just as it was right there with the.
And Earls took a shot. Mm-hmm. And let's see what the penalty is about. I think it's. Although maybe it got picked up because it looked like he picked it up. So they didn't, whatever it was, they didn't call it. Maybe the pass got tipped. It might have at the line. It was well short of where it should have been. So maybe the pass was tipped. But the flag looks like it was picked up. So now it's 3rd down and long for the Lancers.
It has been a wild night. 3rd down and 15 for the Lancers. Earl's going to go ahead and try to complete the pass there. But there defensively for Cascade Christian, looked like Ashton Moody there.
Yeah, it was Ashton Moody. Nice play by him, and that time another incompletion.
Well, and Moody, we've talked a lot about his offensive exploits, but I tell you, that linebacking core for the Challengers.
Very tough.
Yeah.
Very tough group when you look at, Moody, and you've got Mason Hoffman in the middle.
Brandon Van
Wert, yep. Just a good group of very tough kids. And don't forget about Derek Farmer in there as well.
You betcha. Yeah, Farmer's almost kind of a Swiss Army knife defensively. Kemp getting set to kick it away. Scaglione calling for it. He'll take it, crosses the 45-yard line, approaches midfield. But there he is taken down. David Logan making the stop. And the Challengers get pretty good field position out of this.
Yeah, nice job by Scaglione of coming up and catching that football, not letting it hit the turf like he has a couple of different times. And the Challengers now with 6:25 to go here in the second quarter get the football back at their own 48. And hopefully maybe they can find that play that they ran to Derek Farmer and keep that ball in bounds because he had a big gain. Would have put the Challengers in great field position headed toward the end zone on that last 3rd down conversion.
Senior night tonight for South Umpqua. 12 seniors on this squad. Good turnout for the team. Coach Stebbins with, by my count, 43 players.
Yeah, one of the biggest teams we've seen this year. Challengers,
Moody. He's going to cock back, look for Farmer. This, though, throw off target.
He had him. He just has to throw that ball to him. Unfortunately, Farmer with 2 or 3 steps on the DB on this side. And just overthrown unfortunately, by Moody.
Mason Johnson on the coverage for South Umpqua. It'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. And split out wide left is Farmer. Slot on his side is Luke Wilson. Over to the right side, you've got Freilich and Peyton Maurer. Wilson now in motion. And
Ashton Moody going to keep it up the middle.
And he's been kind of hobbled this evening. You kind of get the feeling like he's kind of like your emergency pull cord.
Well, and that did not look like a very good spot to me either. He got almost, I thought he got almost to the 35, and they're marking him a couple yards short of that. So that's an interesting spot.
3rd and short for the challengers. Moody, Scaglione behind him, trips to the right. And Scaglione going to take off and run. He crosses the 40-yard line, down to the 30. And he's dragged out of bounds.
At the 25.
And a penalty flag coming out after the whistle blows.
Yeah, that might be a horse collar. You were talking about it earlier. That what that looked like to me. And not called by the official right here in front. I never like what they just did either. When you got an official right in front of the play who doesn't make the call, and you got a guy in the back much farther away who throws the flag. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's a first down for the challengers whether or not they get the extra yardage from it. But a nice run that time by Scaglione. And they are going to call a horse collar tackle, it looks like. And give the challengers another 10 yards on the play. Or maybe 15. It looks like 15.
So that puts the challengers in the red zone here. 5:38 left to go in the half. Moody hands to Scaglione. He tries to bring it out to the outside, but good defensive play there by the Lancers, as they had that one pretty well sniffed out all the way.
And a helmet came off, so Skaggs is going to have to come out of the game. Really no gain on the play that time. They tried to go right back to that same play they just ran for the big run. That time the Lancers saying, no, we're not going to let you do that again. And no gain on the play, bringing up 2nd and 10 now.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And the Lancers doing a good job of reading that play out defensively. So that will got the ball at the 14-yard line. They're actually going to say he lost a couple of yards on the play to bring up a 2nd down and 12. So Fiannaca now in the backfield along with Moody. Claps his hands together, man in motion. Peyton Maurer rolling left now is Moody. Moody getting a little bit of pressure, looking for Maurer, but pretty good coverage down there by the Lancers.
Yeah, really good coverage. And now Moody's 0 for his last 3 and brings up now a big 3rd down for the challengers.
Moody coming in, a 70% passer on the season. Incredible numbers he's putting up there, but tonight the Lancers doing their part to limit the damage that Moody can do. Four receivers set. Wilson in motion.
Got Derek Farmer down here one-on-one on the short side of the field, and the Challengers are going to call timeout and think about this play a little bit and see what they want to do here.
So timeout called. We will take one as well. John L. Scott scoreboard showing the Challengers leading 14-0 in the second quarter. We'll be right back.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Any time is a good time to plan your funeral, except at the time of the funeral. At Conger Morris, we know that there are so many advantages to planning ahead. It eases the burden on our families at their worst time. Pre-planning also alleviates their stress, knowing the funeral costs are already taken care of. And it allows your service to be more meaningful, with all of your wishes being taken care of. Call us today for personalized assistance in creating your own plan. Conger Morris, we'll always be there.
Moody's hobbling out.
Third down and long for the Challengers. Down at the 14. Moody with Wilson in motion going to the right side. Moody's going to go ahead and roll to his right. Left-hander throws, looks toward the end zone.
Thrown a little bit short, and you can tell he's not moving super well, Moody that is. And he really didn't get a chance to turn his hips and set his feet that time as he had some pressure on him. So that's going to bring up 4th down for the Challengers, and what are they going to do here? I agree with you. I would not feel bad about throwing or kicking a field goal here. But it looks like the Challengers going to go for it. They can get a first down around the 2 or 3 yard line here.
Well, and even if they come up short, that Lancers will be deep in their own territory. They're going to go over to the end zone.
And they're saying he's out of bounds again.
I thought he was in.
Well, you certainly can't tell from here.
No. Well, and guess what? My vote doesn't count anyway. So it will be the Lancers taking over on downs at their own 14-yard line.
And that's 5 consecutive incompletions now for Moody. And he had an open Maurer in that corner of the end zone. The Challengers didn't seem to complain about that too much, so I have a feeling that he was out of bounds just because of the reaction of the Challenger players.
Well, we'll defer to the men in stripes. Besides, that's just what they're going to do anyway.
Well, they've already proved that, right?
Yeah.
But I think you would have saw a lot more vehemently disapproval from the Challenger bench and sideline if he had been in bounds. So
no, it's just kind of a funky angle from here. And so with that, all that to say, the Lancers going to go ahead and try to get something going offensively.
And Van Wert right there for the Cascade Christian to make a play.
Brendan Van Wert limits the damage by Logan. They'll give him a couple of yards on the play to bring up 2nd down and 8. But Van Wert, one of those guys that not one of the biggest guys you'll find, that he'll go about 170 pounds.
But he's got a nose for the football.
He does.
And he seems to always be in on these plays, especially the run plays. Very good run defender.
2nd and 8. And then taking off and running with it, the quarterback. Nope, that is Logan. Logan to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Lancers.
85 yards on the touchdown run by Logan. And boy, just like that, South Umpqua back in the football game.
It's a brand new ball game. Here you can see out of midfield, and he is off to the races. Like a midnight train to Georgia, Logan gets his team on the scoreboard. And now getting in to attempt the point after is freshman kicker Cooper Howard. Cooper, his brother Hayden, the senior center. A little bit of trouble with the snap.
And no good.
So it is 14-6 as the Lancers come up with the answer thanks to the running of Jacob Logan. We'll take a timeout and we'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever? Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bro dignity.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Yep. Back here at Kent Weigel Stadium here in South Omaha. Of course, Weigel, legendary coach for the Lancers back in the day. Tell you what, you look at this program, you go back in history, 40, 50 years, and this South Umpqua program was really something else, and they have had some success here in recent years, and they're making a ball game of it here as they trail by just 7 points with 3:51 left to go here in the first half of play. And kind of a short kick, a little bit of trouble for Freilich, and it ends up rolling out of bounds.
Luckily for him, bounces off his hands and rolls out of bounds, and the Challengers with decent field position up at the 28.
So 1st and 10 for Cascade. They've had a little bit of trouble here in the passing game here in the second quarter. Can they turn their fortunes around? Right now, the momentum, the pendulum swinging South Umpqua's way, and they're just a touchdown away from tying this thing up.
Well, a really nice drive last time for the Challengers that stalled out on about the 15-yard line, and Lancers take over with and have that big run for the touchdown.
Moody completes the pass to Farmer. Farmer spins around, goes out at about the 39-yard line. They'll credit him with 9-yard gain on the play.
Yeah, hopefully the offense can get a little bit of rhythm back.
So that'll bring up a 2nd down and short. Scaglione, the single setback. And he'll take the handoff from Moody. And actually, they did give him the first down on the line. I was thinking the same thing. So that was a first down run there. That's what I get for trusting the scoreboard.
Yeah.
So I'll bring up a 2nd down and 9. So a gain of about 1 on the play. Moody looking for Farmer. Farmer going to go ahead and step right out of bounds. Take it up to about the 45. Third and 4 for Cascade.
Trying to pick up the tempo, been a little bit for the Challengers here.
Again, it's Farmer split out wide to the left. Slot on his side. Wilson, pass complete to Farmer. Farmer dragged out of bounds, but not before he picks up another Challenger first down.
Yeah, got about 11 on that one.
Well, you don't expect a guy with a cast on his hand to be proficient at catching a football, but Farmer getting it done here in the second quarter.
Well, as long as the Lancers are going to not crowd him at the line of scrimmage, he's going to do the same thing every time and just take the 5 yards that they're giving him on the cushion underneath, and continue to take advantage of the single coverage that the Lancers have on his side.
Again, Wilson in motion. And now, pumping it. Looking long downfield for Wilson is Moody. Pass falls incomplete. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, Moody got pressure on him when he threw that ball way before he wanted to. Actually, a smart deal by him to throw the ball because he was going to get sacked for a pretty good loss. Now brings up 2nd and 10.
Just huck that thing up there. Huck it far.
Yeah, make sure it's not going to be underthrown and intercepted. But if he could have held on to it a little longer, Luke Wilson might have had a shot at getting open there.
So bring up 2nd down and 10. Moody looking right now. Pass complete. And it looks like first down yardage and more for the Challengers. Luke Wilson there on the reception.
Yep. And a little bit of rhythm now we're seeing with that Challenger offense as they move the ball around between the different receivers. You can see the Lancers are trying to double cover Peyton Maurer, and so the Challengers are now going to other guys and getting them the football in space. So nice adjustment by the Challenger offense.
So that'll move the ball down to the 33-yard line of South Umpqua. Wilson, the man in motion to the right side. And Moody going to complete the pass. Maurer with it.
It's that tunnel screen to Maurer. Not quite as effective as it was for the big 50-yard gain in the first half, or in the first quarter, I should say, but still about a 6-yard gain for Maurer. And rhythm now, much more rhythm for the Challenger offense here.
Well, the Challenger's going to everything underneath now.
Yeah, exactly.
4 receiver set, twins to the left and to the right. Moody getting some pressure, looking downfield for Freilich. Pass underthrown. And there with the pressure for South Umpqua is Landon Bauer, Lancer linebacker.
And we got a holding penalty against the Challengers.
So that'll make it a second down and about 14. Movement.
And we have an offsides, it looks like, this time against South Umpqua on a hard count by Moody. And they'll take the 5 yards back.
So now after...
Well, that's the third holding penalty on the Challengers, and I don't think we've seen 3 holding penalties against the Challengers in any game so far this year. So
it just seems like the line's just a little bit out of sorts tonight.
Yeah, it does.
So the ball down at the 32-yard line. Scaglione now on the left of Moody. Moody completes the pass, and trying to wiggle his way out of a tackle is Peyton Maurer. Maurer gets him close to a first down. It'll be third and maybe about 2 or 3 yards. 1:53 left to go in the half. 14-6 ball game.
Surprised we haven't seen that quarterback power yet, but I think maybe that's due to we got another flag thrown.
Yeah, that one coming in late. Sometimes it comes in that late, you wonder about maybe like a face mask or something.
Well, I got a feeling it's another hold because that seems to be the theme of the day, if you know what I mean. And it is. It's another hold against the Challengers. So pretty unbelievable that we continue to see it.
So they'll walk this one off against the Challengers. What was a 3rd down and 2 will now become a 3rd down and 12.
Oh, boy.
Lots of laundry tonight.
Yeah. 7 accepted penalties against the Challengers already.
1:36 to go in the half.
5 against the Lancers. Just makes you wonder.
Yeah. Challengers with trips to the left. Wilson now in motion to the right side. Moody looking long, looking downfield. The pass intended for Wilson, just a little long. It'll bring up 4th down.
Well, in this spot on the field, if you're the Challengers, you're probably going for it because it's just, it's too long to kick a field goal and punt's not going to buy you much. You're on the 35. And the Challengers need to get down to about the 33-yard line.
Ball at the 35-yard line of South Umpqua. 1:11 left to go in the half.
Excuse me, it's the 23, not the 33 that the Challengers need to get down to.
Multiple receivers in motion. And moving along the line.
And the Challengers will get another 5 yards back. And I like to see that from the Challengers, mixing up the count, and you get guys jumping off sides. And that's the second one here on this drive. And that takes it from 4th and 12 to 4th and 7 now. A little bit more manageable for the Challengers. Lots of plays they can run on 4th and 7.
And you can see Moody limping onto the field, but he's definitely not himself this evening.
Absolutely.
Along with some of the other challengers coming along. And here we have, once again, that kind of almost a bunch-type formation.
And the challengers take a timeout.
Timeout called. 1:11 to go here in the first half of play. Challengers find themselves in a 4th and 7. Today's game is brought to you by Tap Rock, Northwest Bar and Grill in Grants Pass, Elmer's Restaurants of Medford, and the Southern Oregon Sports Commission's Know Your Role campaign promoting respectful behavior at youth sporting events. We'll go ahead and work in a quick 30-second spot here, and we'll be right back here on TableRockSports.net.
Jeep Adventure Days at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. Choose from our great inventory of new 23 Jeep Gladiator and Cherokee 4x4 models, or test drive a new 23 Ram 1500 4x4. Shop online today with our online process to calculate your own payment, whether it's a lease, finance, or cash payment. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Don't really have that.
So 4th down and 7 here at Kent Weigel Stadium. Moody claps his hands together. Short drop, looking long.
And he overthrows Maurer.
And it looked like Maurer slipped a little bit in those final steps as well. So the Lancers get it back.
Second turnover on downs by the challengers inside the Lancers 30. And unfortunately, no points to show for either one of those drives. And the Lancers now have the ball back with 1:05 to go here in the second quarter. And the second quarter seems to have dragged on here quite a long time to me anyway.
It has been a long time. You figure
both teams throwing the ball a lot, and that's
right.
Stopping the clock.
And then you throw the penalties into the mix.
Oh, geez, yeah. The penalties have been incredible. 7 penalties against the challengers and 6 against the South Umpqua Lancers. So 13 penalties here in the first half.
And right now, the Lancers' opportunity, 1:05 left to go. They got about 70 yards to go to pick up 6. And trying to break it to the outside, but they're making the stop for Cascade Christian. I believe that's Luke Wilson.
It is Luke Wilson. And a loss of about 5 on the play.
Be a play that can fire up a defense. I see there, 71, Cole Breitler. He's been one of those guys, along with Fianaka, that's kind of come on here as the season's gone on along that defensive front.
And the Lancers don't look like they're in a hurry to run this play with 30 seconds to go. So this could be the last play of the first half.
26 seconds and counting. And they'll go ahead and try the left side of that Challenger defense.
And looked like a quarterback keeper.
So they'll work the ball up to about the
original line of scrimmage.
Yeah. So that brings up a 3rd down and 10.
And that'll do it for the half.
So the siren sounds, and that will end the first half of play. Regular season finale, senior night here at South Umpqua. Stay tuned for the halftime report brought to you by the Medford Parks and Recreation Department. Did you know the City of Medford is the largest provider of community recreation classes, programs, and sports leagues in Southern Oregon? Check out the program guide for hundreds of offerings at playmedford.com. We'll take a 2-minute timeout, and we'll be back with our halftime report here on TableRockSports.net.
South Umpqua High School has 2 seniors on our boys cross-country team. Yesterday they both competed at
diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever? Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bros in you.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
In wrestling and football, he has earned his varsity letter in wrestling and cross country.
So what do you do when a loved one has been wrongfully injured or killed? It's simple. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. LetUsFightForYou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Pick it up. Let's go. Come on. Defense. Defense. What am I teaching you at home? Has this kid played before? Shoot it. Oh. Ah. Come on, ref. Open your eyes. Can't you see out there? So, which one's your kid?
The referee.
You can be a parent, athlete, coach, or an official, but you can only be one. Know your role.
So what do you do when you can't work because you were injured on the job? Easy. Just go to LetUsFightForYou.com. That's it. LetUsFightForYou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Welcome to the Medford Parks and Recreation Halftime Show. Excitement is building for the January 2024 opening of Rogue X. The Aquatics and Event Centers await you with 2 indoor swimming pools and water slides. The Event Center will host basketball and volleyball leagues and tournaments and other indoor events. Visit playmedford.com or to check out your fall activities guide to learn more about Rogue Credit Union Community Complex, also known as Rogue X. Not a whole lot of scoring in the first half. And that may tell you a little something about the crazy first half it was. Cascade Christian would strike first on a 4-yard run by Caleb Scaglione. He'll take it from Moody here. And then he'll work it to the right side, finds the running room there, right side of the line. Luke Ryder over there along with Mason Hoffman doing their job. And the Challengers end up taking the 6-0 lead after they had trouble on the exchange for the extra point try. Then Cascade Christian. 11:55 to go on the half. It was Ashton Moody connecting with Caleb Scaglione over in the corner of the end zone. Challengers successful on the 2-point conversion. And the Challengers take a 14-0 lead. But South Umpqua goes to work. And they get a long touchdown run from Jacob Logan. He puts on quite a show, and he gets his team on the board. Once he was out to midfield, there was nobody catching him. He outruns the posse for the touchdown. The extra point attempt unsuccessful, and we have our halftime score of 14-6. And Mark, it looks like, got the halftime stats ready. Probably
I do.
Probably didn't have to really fry the calculator to get these numbers.
Well, the Challengers have a lot more yards than they have points, it seems like. They have a total offense of 255 yards. We'll get to that a little bit more detail here in a minute. But normally with that amount of points or that amount of yards in the first half, they'd have a lot more points. But, they've gone down inside the red zone a couple of different times and had turnovers on downs. And that's, those are opportunities lost when you're Cascade Christian. and they've lost 2 of those opportunities there in the first half, and South Umpqua's defense has really stiffened up when the Challengers have got down near the red zone so far. And also penalties against the Challengers have been a little bit of their undoing as well. But for South Umpqua in the first half, they had 3 first downs. They ran the ball 15 times for 110 yards, but remember, 85 of that 110 on the one run by Logan. Earls in the first half, he's just 2 for 9 passing for just 3 yards. So running and passing for South Umpqua, they have 113 yards of offense in that first half. And again, take out that 85-yard run, and they don't have much going on. 20 yards in returns for South Umpqua, and the Lancers have 6 penalties for 50 yards in the first half. And you know, that's about where everybody ended up, you know, for the Lancers, and really not a lot of offense other than that one play. If you looked at one big play, 90% of their offense in the first half. For the Challengers, on the other hand, they have 9 first downs. They ran the ball 10 times for 37 yards. Moody passing is 15 for 25 for 178 yards in that. So he had a really good first half. So running and passing for the Challengers, they have 215 yards of offense. They had 40 yards in return, so total offense for Cascade Christian of 255 yards. They had 7 penalties, though, for 65 yards in the first half, and some of those were really killers that backed them up when they got down in the red zone and near, past midfield a couple times with some holding penalties. And that's really been the undoing of the Challengers in the first half for those penalties. Neither team, other than the turnover on downs by the Challengers, neither team has a turnover yet. And I'll tell you what, we've seen this a little bit with the Challengers in the first half this year of a few different games where they've had some slow starts. I don't know that this is necessarily a slow start as much as it is not being able to finish those drives when they got down inside the South Umpqua 30.
It has been unusual for Cascade Christian with what has been their typical performance throughout this year. Of course, to the credit of the Lancers got down 14-0, but they haven't given up, and they've
figured out a way to get back in it, right?
Well, they figured out a way to get back in it, but I think also tonight we've seen that they've had some success putting on some pressure on an Ashton Moody that is not at 100% physically, and that's kind of helped gum up the works because it's interesting. 15 out of 25, those are pretty good numbers for just about any quarterback. But with the level of accuracy that he's played at this year, it looks like, but it's not, it looks like an off night.
Yeah, it does a little bit, and he did have a stretch there, looking back at my statistics, where he had 5 incompletions in a row, which is very unusual for him. And that was one of the stalled drives that the Challengers had. So I'm real curious to see kind of, after the adjustments here that the Challengers and both the Lancers make at halftime, how this, the beginning of this third quarter goes. Remember, the Challengers deferred, and they will get the ball to start the third quarter. So we'll see how that goes. And hopefully if the Challengers can put some points on the board right away and sort of take this back as a 2-score game, maybe they can continue to really, put the pressure on South Umpqua to perform offensively. And so far, other than that one play, they really haven't been able to do so.
Absolutely. Well, we'll go ahead and take a quick break right now, and when we return, we'll get you ready for the start of the second half. Your John L. Scott scoreboard showing the Cascade Christian Challengers 14 and the South Umpqua Lancers 6. We'll be back in 2 minutes here on TableRockSports.net.
It's game day or a family get-together. Sherm's has the quality products and prices that will make you cheer. Sherm's Thunderbird Market, Medford's original discount grocery store.
Daily adventures this summer starts at Pinnacle 365. Accelerate your day with morning motivation. Freshly ground, swiftly brewed. Add some extra crunch to your lunch with our mouth-watering crispy crunchy chicken. The perfect combination of crispy juicy chicken and irresistible flavors. Earn free rewards and save at least 16 cents a gallon with our Peak Rewards app. Get supercharged and add to your fuel savings when you purchase Core Water, Nestle ice cream, and Red Bull. This summer, let's meet at the Peak and save on our daily adventures.
You want diverse venues? We got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Glass covers the full spectrum of your glass needs and dreams. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home and auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
This is Maya. As an embedded systems engineering student at Rogue Community College, Maya spends a lot of time in the lab, learning circuit design and making great connections with her instructors and classmates. By riding the bus and not owning a car, Maya saves almost $1,000 a month. RBTD helps Maya get to and from class safely and easily, enabling her to invest in her bright future at Oregon Tech. Way to go, Maya!
Back here at Kent Weigel Stadium in Myrtle Creek, Oregon, southern Douglas County, the Cascade Christian Challengers lead the South Umpqua Lancers by a score of 14-6, and that is your halftime score. Shout out to the Challenger girls volleyball team. They'll be in action tomorrow, opening their playoff run against Westside Christian out of Tualatin. That game will be at noon at the Cascade Christian Pavilion, and it will also be video streamed with yours truly and Johnny McCoy at 12 noon tomorrow on the NFHS network. Also, a shout out to the boys cross-country team. Michael Reagan taking second place at the district meet, and the boys as a team, good solid team effort. We also had Nash Crisp and Isaac Young placing inside the top 10. So 3 challengers inside the top 10. They parlayed that into a second place finish, and also good runs, personal bests by Tayan Landers and Andrew Greer. Micah Accord, a new member of the team this year, a freshman, and did well there. Over on the girls' side, Brendan Van Wort's younger sister, Gwendolyn, ended up taking home a 10th place finish, top freshman finisher in the field. And the Challenger girls ended up taking 5th. And the great news for the Challenger boys cross-country team, no seniors, only one senior, Stephanie Chavez, over on the girls' side. And while we're taking care of shout-outs, it has been birthday week for the Challengers Table Rock sports crew. On Sunday, Johnny McCoy, our cameraman, turned 21 years old, so now he's fully into the adult world. And today, my broadcast partner, this is 14 years we've been working together, and tonight we celebrate his birthday.
Oh, thank you.
And we won't say how old you are, but it's a number between 60 and 62.
Oh, there you go.
So, anyway, congratulations, Mark. I know that you will be getting together over the weekend with some of the Challenger Brain Trust for boys basketball, and it's hard to believe.
We're almost there, aren't we?
It's crazy to think that the North Valley game was 9 weeks ago.
Yeah, it goes by fast. And once football starts, school starts, football starts, and then all of a sudden you're in basketball season. So every year it seems to go by quicker and quicker. But, it'll be good to get some basketball going here shortly, even though we know the Challengers are going to be playing for a few more weeks.
I think so. We'll look forward to it. The playoffs will begin to get underway starting next week, and it'll be interesting to watch because you look at some of those teams up in the upper echelons, a lot of familiar program names. Kennedy, the state runner-up from last year. Dayton, the team that the Challengers beat in the semifinals. Banks, another semifinalist team. Oh, let's not forget about Vail. Vail is an Oregon team, and I pity the team that has to travel out there to see them.
Yeah, no kidding.
Long road trip, and there's always, you get down into playoff time, and that's what all the hard work is for. And right now, the Challengers leading in this ball game by 14-6. Should South Umpqua end up pulling up, would be in the eyes, I think, of more than a couple people, an upset this evening. The Challengers, by virtue of their victory over Lakeview, would end up scoring the tiebreaker there. But as you mentioned, Mark, one of the things you want to try to do is take care of yourselves by fortifying your playoff position. And how you do that, you figure all these rankings are based on who your opponents are, how you performed against them, and then who played against
who played who.
Yeah,
so it's a big domino thing. But in the league down here, in the Special District 3 league, there's no non-conference games, right? So everybody plays everybody in the league, and that gives you your 9 games. So the Challengers without an opportunity to play anybody outside of their league, which I think is kind of unfortunate.
Right.
And I'd really like to see them do something different with this league, split it in half or something, so that the teams can play some games outside of the league, and then maybe they have a 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2 kind of a deal at the end of the season or something like that. But I think they need to get a little creative with this to allow the teams to play some non-conference games. But we'll see how that happens or how that plays out going forward. Maybe in the next round of realignment that the OSAA does, maybe they'll do something like that.
Well, that's one thing we know, Mark, in 14 years of you and I working together, is the one constant is change.
Oh, that's for sure.
All right, the Medford Parks and Recreation Department, it helps sponsor our fall sports coverage. Swim lessons, basketball and volleyball leagues, a splash pad, and water slides are set to open in January 2024 at Rogax, located at the Howard Memorial Sports Park. You can reserve birthday rooms and packages with sports and splashing. This has been the Medford Parks and Recreation Halftime Show. Visit them at playmedford.com. And Mark, you and I have been watching the World Series because it's kind of an interesting deal. You're a Giants guy. I'm a Dodgers guy. Neither one of our teams are in it. And we kind of like both teams that are in it right now, Arizona and Texas, right now at a 5-all draw, as we keep one eye open on the action over there as the Fall Classic gets underway.
Yeah, amazing that those two teams that, I don't think hardly anybody picked either one of them to be in the World Series, and yet there they are. And right now it's the end of the game, end of the 9th inning, so they're going to extras, 5-5.
Oh, boy.
So that's going to be a barn burner to start the series, it sounds like.
Speaking of barn burners, right here, it's a 14-6 ball game. He kind of got the feeling as the second quarter wound down that on the basis of their score, the Lancers picked up a little bit of momentum, but it's the Challengers who get the football first here to open the second half.
Well, and I kind of feel like this opening drive for the Challengers is somewhat important for them to kind of get, or maybe even take back some of the momentum they lost on those last couple of drives, where they turned the ball over on downs to the Lancers instead of getting any points out of those. So we'll see how the Challengers respond here to start the third quarter with the football.
So the Challengers set to receive. Luke Wilson back there along with Caleb Scaglione. It is Cooper Howard getting ready to kick it away, freshman kicker.
Yeah, very short and kind of angled toward the sideline kick last time that went, remember, out of bounds.
So end-over-end kick, and they're making the fair catch call. That's Bryson Walker for Cascade Christian, and the Challengers have pretty fair field position out of it.
Smart move by Bryson, just fair catch it and get the field position out at the 38 and let the Challengers play from there.
All right, start of the third quarter. Challengers come out with Peyton Maurer split wide to the right. Moody and Scaglione remain in the backfield. Over to the left side of the field, you've got trips. The inside slot is Luke Wilson. And they'll get that extra football off the field. And here we go. Challengers on a first down and 10. Moody takes the snap, throws it. Short pass, complete. not much happening there for the Challengers on first down. Looked like Christopher Freilich there with the catch.
Yeah, a little short gain, but not much for the Challengers.
So that'll bring up second down. They'll credit him with a couple of yards on the play to make it a second down and 8. Now we got Twins receivers over to the right side. Pass out in the left flat. They're making the catch.
I think that's Farmer.
Derek Farmer's been a busy man, and again, making all those catches with his hands wrapped up. Looked like he picked up about 3 or 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, unfortunately, he had to kind of slide down to catch the football and wasn't really able to do much with it after the catch. So third down now for the Challengers, and see if they can pick up this first down.
Now the Challengers going to go ahead and run the football. Forward momentum should give them enough for the first down. Now Scaglione with the carry.
Yeah, give him about 4 or 5 yards, I guess, on the carry, and a first down for the Challengers. Just the second one they have on the ground tonight.
Well, as you say, Mark, it was kind of a quiet first half. 37 yards on 10 carries, 3.7. For a lot of teams, that would be a reasonably respectable night, but by Challenger standards, a quiet one. In motion is Wilson here to the near side, and Scaglione.
And I think I saw a flag again out there. Wouldn't be you know, we couldn't have 3 plays in a row without a flag.
One would not think so, the way it's gone this evening. And one would expect that it'd probably be a call against the Challengers.
Probably a hold. That's a personal foul face mask against the Lancers, so we're wrong on 3 accounts.
Well, they have a saying about assuming things, which I won't repeat here, but maybe that one goes into play here.
Yeah, maybe. Challengers get a first down out of it, 15-yard penalty, and on to the end of the run. Skaggs got about 2 yards on the run, so...
Put the ball at South Umpqua's 35-yard line. Wilson in motion. Over to the right side, so we have trips over there now. With Maurer, Freilich, and Wilson. Scaglione, single setback. Moody dropping back, looking right.
Trying to throw to Maurer, but Maurer slips. And when he tries to make his break, and this field is wet and muddy, and Challengers having a little bit of trouble with their footing. And that ball probably would have been caught if Maurer hadn't slipped. Kind of bounced off his hands because he slipped down to the turf.
Well, it's the second time we've seen that this evening. And, well, this is when you know, Toto, I get the distinct feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, no kidding.
Second down and 10 for Cascade. Twins left and right. They'll hand it to Scaglione. He will struggle ahead past the 35-yard line down to about the 34.
For maybe a yard. And the Challengers have not really been effective at all running the football tonight. So that brings up a 3rd and long now for the Challengers.
We'll have Maurer split out wide to the right. Behind him is Christopher Freilich. Pair of receivers lined up in similar fashion over the left side. Moody. I'll hand it to Scaglione. Scaglione looks like he'll get that down to about the 33.
And that's going to bring up 4th down again in about 7. Not sure what that call was right there.
It's interesting. You almost kind of get the feeling they're already going somewhat in kill the clock mode.
Yeah,
8:45, and it's, I don't know, it seems early for that.
Well, they're trying to count. Normally they count guys in the box and decide what to do based on that, but the run game just hasn't been very effective tonight.
Moody going to drop back, pass complete. First down yardage and more. bursting out of the backfield and picking up a Challenger first down.
And that's Farmer, I believe.
Derek Farmer, I tell you what, he's gotten a season's worth of work tonight.
15 yards and a first down for the Challengers, and that tunnel screen has worked all night. And that time they ran it to somebody other than Maurer, I think, which even made it more effective because they're kind of keeping an eye on Maurer.
Now they're going to go ahead and throw a looping pass. The catch is made. Touchdown, Challengers.
So nice play by the Challengers there as they fake the screen again, and it's about a 28-yard touchdown, or 18-yard touchdown, excuse me.
Moody, you know, and he's got a really nice feel for putting the air under the ball like that.
He most certainly does, and that one was easy one.
Was that Scaglione again?
I think it was.
Caleb Scaglione with his second touchdown catch of the evening. 20-6 now.
They're going to go for 2, it looks like.
And then Moody looking for Wilson. Wilson spins out of a would-be tackle, and he gets 2 more.
So, yeah, Scaglione has all the touchdowns so far for the Challengers. 4-yard touchdown run, and that's his second receiving touchdown.
Challengers leading this one, 22-6. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll be back with more here on TableRockSports.net.
Are very curious about your new family member.
Hello. We built her so we could get a family plan.
Well, with U.S. Cellular, it's just $19.99 per line for 1, 2, or 3 lines.
Oh.
I guess we don't need a 4th line anymore.
This is up.
That's I can't hear you. It's closer than up here. You see what he wants.
Something about the camera being pointed at the post.
I don't know. Get ready to. Where's this in the way of the post? Is the poster all right here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Kickoff by Cascade Christian. And taken by the return man, that is Jacob Logan. Logan runs it up to about the 15, 16-yard line. And that is where the Lancers will take over. So Lancers going to try to come up here with an answer. 7:55 left to go in the third quarter of play. Big play of the night for South Umpqua has been the 85-yard touchdown run by Jacob Logan.
Yeah, and been really the only offensive play of any significance in the football game for South Umpqua, as the Challenger defense has been pretty good in this one.
Going in motion is Camp. The Lancers go to the ground game. Jacob Logan.
And Scaglione without there doing a nice job of limiting the damage there. Logan gets about 3 yards on the carry.
Well, definitely he's come as advertised, that he's one of the top backs, and he's been an all-state back for the Lancers. Well,
he's got a lot of speed and size. You know, you got to admire when a kid that has both.
He is a deadly combination.
6 foot, 200 pounds. That's a big guy. Nice play by Wilson out there on Logan again. And the Challengers doing a good job of really not letting him get outside. Lancers do have 112 yards rushing, but as we mentioned at halftime, one of those carries was for 85 yards, so you take that out of the picture, and it's not been super productive on the ground for the Lancers tonight.
No, it hasn't. And then the passing game has had some struggles of its own, although Earls will try to change that here. He's going to go ahead and take matters into his own hands as he cuts upfield. But the Challenger pursuit catches up to him, and it'll bring up a 4th down, and we'll call it about 9.
Yeah, and Earls thinks he's got someplace to go, but it closes quickly, and he ends up losing a couple yards. And Lancers are going to have to punt. And so, again, we look at, that Challenger defense, and they have been solid, just giving up that one big play. And other than that, the Lancers with still just holding on to those, those 3 first downs that they had in the first half.
Kick by Camp. That'll bounce and hit the turf at the 49-yard line.
And be down there, and the Challengers get the football back in excellent field position.
So ball at midfield with 5:32 left to go in the third quarter.
Challengers now with a real opportunity to sort of put this game, into very, good shape for them if they can put some more points on the board right here. Getting toward the later stages of the third quarter, and currently with that 22-6 lead, one more touchdown for Cascade Christian would really make it tough on the Lancers to come back.
4 receivers set. Receivers, twins to either side of the line. Moody dropping back, looking left, looking long, has a man downfield.
And it's caught down there.
Catch made, I believe that is Derek Farmer.
Yeah, again. 32 yards on the reception, and a nice play by the Challengers to open up this drive. And Farmer has become, they put more defensive guys over on the Mauer side, and that's kind of freed up Farmer to really go wild, as you mentioned, on the other side of the field.
Handoff. Scaglione. He's only going to get about a yard or 2 out of the play. And again, you just kind of get that feeling that it's just one of those things where the expectation for big gains out of it aren't that high, but you keep the defense honest by
running it every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well, and the Challengers now over 250 yards in passing on the evening.
Moody looking to the sideline, and he's going to move on the other side of Scaglione. Freilich in motion. And they're wrapped up in the backfield. Big defensive play there made by the Lancers.
That was Scaglione again in at quarterback and trying to keep that and run it himself after faking the fly sweep.
And Jacob Logan had that read like a book.
Yeah, no gain on the play.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 9.
Yeah, the one thing the Lancers have done is not allowed the Challengers to run the football.
Moody looking over to the left sideline.
Incomplete over there, I think, to Farmer again, or trying to get the ball to him.
So that'll bring up 4th down.
Now here's the place where you could probably kick that field goal if you wanted to, because it's 4th and 10. Challengers look like they're going to go for it.
Yes, I think you're right, Mark.
So again, another drive down inside Lancer territory, and the defense for the Lancers has definitely stiffened up in these situations, and the Challengers call a timeout.
Timeout called on the field. We will take one as well. John L. Scott scoreboard, 3:22 left to go in the third. Challengers lead 22-6. We'll be right back.
Glass covers the full spectrum of your glass needs and dreams. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home and auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
This is Maya. As an embedded systems engineering student at Rogue Community College, Maya spends a lot of time in the lab, learning circuit design and making great connections with her instructors and classmates. By riding the bus and not owning a car, Maya saves almost $1,000 a month. RVTD helps Maya get to and from class safely.
Back to action here. 4th down. Challengers looking to go for it. Moody with Scaglione in the backfield. Tight formation. Moody getting some pressure. Looking long downfield. Has a man down there.
Incomplete, out of bounds. You got to throw that in bounds. Who was that down there? Luke Wilson? He had him for a touchdown if he throws it in bounds. Unfortunately for the Challengers, it's another turnover on downs, and been too many of those, and that's the 3rd one in this football game.
On the bright side for Cascade, they have the Lancers at their own 18-yard line, and the defense has been equal to the task of limiting the Lancers here, but they'll need to answer the bell one more time here with 3:15 to go in the 3rd to keep South Umpqua at bay.
Well, that Lancer defense has just been tough inside the 20-yard line. The Challengers have had trouble cracking the code when they get the ball down in the red area.
This South Umpqua team has definitely given Cascade a battle this evening. On 1st down, we have a breakaway runner here, picking up 1st down yardage and more. And there's Logan there, and fresh set of downs for the Lancers.
Yeah, that's the one thing they have been able to do occasionally is run the football, and 15-yard gain there for Logan and another 1st down for the Lancers. Clock running, 3:05 left in the 3rd quarter. And the Challengers squandering some of these opportunities, and you hope it doesn't come back to bite them.
Meanwhile, the Lancers, Brandon Van Wart.
Yeah, Van Wart in the backfield again.
So he has definitely been a nemesis for the Lancers this evening.
Looks like Logan fell forward for a yard or two.
So the ball now spotted at the 33-yard line. 2nd down and 9. 2:27 to go in the 3rd. Little pitch play. Logan tried to get the outside, but there to meet him. Tell you, this guy has had a big game, Derek Farmer.
Derek Farmer has played really well in this one, and Logan actually loses a couple of yards on that one, bringing up 3rd and 10.
Two minutes to go in the 3rd. Well, what is it they say about defense, Mark, that wins championships?
Well, and the Challengers' defense has been stellar all season, and we've talked about it over and over again. The offense has somewhat come and gone, but the defense has been steady all year long. I mean, you look at it, they've given up 33 points, or maybe 34. Nope, 33. I was 33 and 7 tonight, so 40 points in the entire season so far, and this is the 9th game.
Earls rolling out to his right, looking upfield, pass thrown.
And a nice defensive play out there by the Challengers. And somebody's cramping.
Yep.
Over there for Cascade Christian. And that looked like the breakup there for the Challengers. Looked like it was Bryson Walker out there making a play.
Well, he's one of those freshman guys, and there's several of them, one of those rising stars for Cascade Christian. Not a whole lot of size, but man, does he have a lot of speed.
Yeah, he does. A lot of speed, and he's a very athletic kid too.
Yes.
Not just a lot of speed, but a lot of athleticism. able to jump and just, do those kinds of things.
Well, I tell you, based on what you've seen of him working with the boys basketball program, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in basketball.
Oh, yeah, he's fun to watch. And that brings up a 4th down now.
So Camp and the Lancers getting set to kick it away.
Terrible snap, but there's nobody in there for the Challengers to stop him. And so he was going to run with it, and that's a big mistake. As the Lancers now may have a turnover on downs deep in their own territory.
So Challengers get good field position here, and just as the Challengers defensively have done a good job of gumming up the works for the Lancers, the Lancer defense has managed to limit the damage by Cascade this evening, and they will need to do so once again as the Challengers have the football at the 31 of South Umpqua.
Let's see if the Challengers can finish the deal here and put some more points on the board as they've struggled again inside the red zone.
They're looking long for Peyton Maurer. There with the pass coverage for South Umpqua. That's Casey Benefill.
And Maurer's limping.
Yeah, that right leg looks really stiff right about
now. Well,
now.
I think he might have twisted his ankle just slightly.
So he's going to go ahead and come off the field, and Bryson Walker coming on for Cascade. So here you go from 6'4" to about 5'3".
Yeah, unfortunately, Maurer looks like he might have twisted an ankle. Or maybe he's just got a cramp. Are they stretching him? I can't see. Yeah, they're stretching him.
All right.
So I think he's got a cramp. We mentioned how cold it is, but it's also pretty moist up here.
Yeah.
And, if you're not paying attention, you're not taking in those fluids, because it's cold. That can, you can get cramps even on a day like today. And you can see that Kurt, the trainer who trains, is out there stretching him out.
Doing athletic trainer things.
Yes.
All right. Well, he tends to him. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
My name's Mason Mahaffey. I'm the Solar Pros Manager of Oregon, and I'm also a teacher and a coach here in the Rogue Valley. Have you looked into solar panels and it didn't make financial sense? I brought Solar Pros here to Oregon to make it more affordable for working class families to put solar on their home. Solar Pros is purposely beating our competitors' prices by thousands of dollars because we are that serious about saving you money. Solar Pros PNW provides the most comfortable, educational, and personal solar experience in Oregon. Visit our Facebook page at Solar Pros PNW to see all of our projects and all the families that we are helping save money.
So Peyton Maurer, after being tended to by Kurt Smith, the trainer.
Looks like it's just a cramp, luckily, and not a twisted ankle. He was just walking funny, so I thought it was his ankle, but he just cramped up, which, in cold weather, sometimes you don't drink fluids like you need to, and
right.
You can cramp.
Yep. That's for sure. Well, right now, where we sit, 1:12 left to go in the third. Challengers, 2nd and 10 at the 31. Looks like we got Kellen Klecker in as a receiver, split wide to the right. Moody looking left, throws a little behind Freilich, but Freilich has running room, and he scores.
Touchdown Challengers, and that's what they needed right there to just kind of put the pressure on, again, on South Umpqua as we get close to the end of the third quarter. A nice little slant there by Freilich, by Freilich, and a great throw right on time by Moody for the touchdown, 28.
Well, you can see it right there. Post kind of breaks it up, but what happens is Moody, he looks right, and then he's got Freilich coming in, running the pattern, and they connect there.
Well, and they kind of faked the bubble screen and then threw the slant, which, again, a little deception from the Challengers. And they hand to they hand to Scaglione, and they don't get it on the 2-point conversion.
So the Challengers will settle for 6 here, and they take a 22-point lead. John L. Scott scoreboard showing the Challengers up 28-6. We'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Enjoy the patio weather and a brand new menu at Tap Rock Northwest Grill, where friends and family gather and memories are made. Come visit us today or visit our website.
Ah, yes, the sounds of Neil Diamond singing Sweet Caroline, and the South Umpqua faithful, and the Challenger faithful for that matter, getting into the song here as the Challengers get set to kick it away. It is Alex Fianaka getting ready to lay a boot into it. And this kick will go deep, and Logan is just saying, we'll just take it at the 20.
I don't think I want to run that one back.
No.
So the nice drive for the Challengers there, and a good deception play for the touchdown. And after the turnover on downs by South Umpqua on the punt that wasn't a punt, and gives the Challengers the short field, and they take advantage of it. And really, I think, kind of put this one away. 1:05 left to go in the third quarter, so it's not over yet, but the defense has been very good. Unless South Umpqua suddenly, pops another 85-yard run, I would think the Challengers in pretty good shape right now.
Well, it's almost as if that Table Rock has become Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, exactly.
The mountain to climb, it's not impossible, but it becomes pretty steep right now. And, again, it becomes incumbent upon the Challenger defense to continue doing what they've been doing here. And
South Umpqua has to take a timeout. They're not ready to run their play, and we're running out of time.
So here, while we now hear the Peter Gunn theme from the pep band here at South Umpqua High School, fall sports action is brought to you by our title sponsor, Lithia Superstore Jeep Dodge Chrysler. And our presenting sponsor, Siskiyou Cellular of Southern Oregon. New stores are open in Roseburg and Klamath Falls now with 9 locations to serve you. 1:05 left to go in the third, and of course, been working around the posts has been a challenge all evening long. No matter where you go, you've got in the construction of the covered stands, and I'm sure these fans, knowing how rainy it can get up here in this area, are appreciative of that. But it does make dancing around them camera-wise always an interesting challenge.
Well, and this little booth that we have here is, I think, more designed for the radio era than it is for the video era, if you know what I mean.
Well, that's the thing. This place has been here a while. I don't think they ever envisioned a day when guys with cameras would be coming up here to video stream a game. Ball loose on the turf. And, of course, you got guys scrambling around for it.
Must have been a backward pass because the officials are marking it where the ball was dropped on the turf. And that's a loss of about 8 yards on the play.
So that'll bring up a second down and very long for South Umpqua. 33 seconds left to go in the third quarter of play. Earls hands the ball to Logan. Logan trying to find an opening.
And struggling to find one, as he looks like he might have got a yard out of that.
So that'll bring up a third down and long for the Lancers. And the clock running, and we'll be up here momentarily on the end of the third quarter of play. That will allow us to pause for messages. Your John L. Scott scoreboard. The Challengers 28, Lancers 6. We'll be back after this timeout.
Jeep Jeep Adventure Days at Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford. We're stocked up on a great selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. Choose from our great inventory of new 23 Jeep Gladiator and Cherokee 4x4 models, or test drive a new 23 Ram 1500 4x4. Shop online today with our online process to calculate your own payment, whether it's a lease, finance, or cash payment. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
On my part, but I think I like the pseudo echo 1987 version of the song better than the original.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, you need that. All right, back here at Kent Weigel Stadium, we've been enjoying the music of the pep band. Shout out to the Lancer pep band, and being the father of high school band member, flute player over the years and stuff like that, have an appreciation for the work that they put in, and they add a little something extra to the experience of being at a ball game.
They certainly do, and they've been doing a great job tonight of playing some music during the slower times of the game. Challengers in really good shape here as we start the fourth quarter, up 28-6, and even though they have had the 3 turnovers on downs deep in South Umpqua territory, they've still managed to put the 28 points on the board, and the defense again has been fabulous for the Challengers. Peyton Maurer back on the field. Good to see him back out there. Sure, they got some fluids in him and stretched him back out.
And first down.
Pass play out in the flat. Couldn't really see it. It's behind the post for me.
Yeah.
But it was completed.
Well, Challengers, I'll tell you one thing for sure, that you could take away their running game, but it's the Challenger passing game has done quite a bit of damage tonight. I think that's been one of the things that has surprised me just a little bit, knowing how many weapons that the Lancers have, but again, as a tribute to the Challenger defense as the Lancers get ready to kick it away.
Challengers unofficially at the end of the third quarter with 268 yards passing in this one.
Not sure what Moody's career high for a game is. Once again, playing it off the grass is Scaglione.
And he gets a few yards on the punt return to give the Challengers some good field position down around the 38 of South Umpqua. And that's one thing that the Challengers have enjoyed most of the game, is pretty darn good starting field position. And the struggle for the Lancers is when they do get the football, they're pretty deep in their own territory and really haven't been able to move it out of that end of the field, whichever, depending on whichever in the quarter, whichever end that is. They've struggled to move the ball out of that end of the field.
So the Challengers set up offensively. Derek Farmer out wide left. Over on his side is Luke Wilson. Moody takes the handoff from Scaglione. Scaglione.
Nice run. Probably one of the best runs of the day by Skaggs. I think he has a first down there as he picks up about 12.
Looks like it from here. Scaglione. He was closing in on 500 yards for the season for Cascade coming into the game. One of the things we haven't seen much tonight with Moody banged up is the fact that in his own right, Moody has been a weapon with his legs this year.
Looks like they gave him 9.5, so the Challengers need a half a yard here on second down for first down.
So second and very short.
I'll give it to him again. Oh, and a nice run again.
So maybe perhaps at this point what has happened is that the Challengers have succeeded in wearing down that Lancer defense.
Yeah, about another 8-yard run for Skaggs, and this time the first down. So now it'll be Challenger first and 10 from, it looks like about the 13. Or excuse me, the 18. 5 yards off, man. This posts and everything else, it's really hard to line things up, too.
Yeah, it is. kind of in a way, though, I don't know how it does, but it messes with your depth perception. And I believe that's Fianaka.
Yeah, it is Fianaka.
So Alex getting a chance, the sophomore.
Looks like he picked up about 5 yards. And the Challengers very content to let that clock run. 9:38 clock running here in the fourth quarter.
Fianaka remaining in the backfield along with Moody. Split out wide to the left is Derek Farmer. Slot man is Wilson, and we hadn't seen one of these in a while, but
And it's a miracle. We hadn't, but we hadn't. And it's an offsides penalty against South Umpqua. And so that gives the Challengers 2nd and 5, I think. Oh, excuse me. Get 2nd and a half yard again. It looks like that. You're right. They didn't quite get the first down with the penalty. Touchdown, Challengers. Nice throw by Moody to Luke Wilson on another slant route. And so the Challengers have kind of found the magic sauce here, running those slants up inside. As we talked about before, the linebackers coming, you get that receiver just behind the linebackers, and if the linebackers are not dropping there, coming toward the line of scrimmage, you can get that slant in there, and they do for the touchdown to Luke Wilson.
You can see there on the replay, Wilson with the catch. And the Challengers extend their lead to 4 touchdowns, and going to try the old traditional way of getting the point after as Mason Hoffman comes in. And I don't think we've seen him place kicking since the first extra point attempt of the game.
And again, they get a bad snap, and it hits off the crossbar and drops to the ground, so no good.
So with 9 minutes left to go, the Challengers lead 34-6. We'll take a timeout, and then we'll be back with more high school football here on TableRockSports.net.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
Come enjoy the patio weather and a brand new menu at Tap Rock Northwest Grill, where friends and family gather and memories are made. Come visit us today or visit our website.
Challengers getting ready to kick it away. We've got 9 minutes left to go in the ball game, 34-6, and really a lot of that coming in the later stages of the second half as the Challengers have begun to pull away after a valiant effort by the Lancers. And here on the return, Logan will run it out past the 30-yard line up to about the 34, and we have a flag in late.
Imagine that.
I'm thinking we're probably going to see a late hit.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to be a personal foul penalty against the Challengers. I'll add 15 yards on that nice return.
So the Lancers will end up getting pretty solid field position out of this.
Yeah, up around the 50, I think. Best field position they've had for quite some time, as the Challengers have held them back in the in their side of the field most of the game. It's going to be up to 49, and so the Lancers with a good place to start this drive from, and 8:54 left to go here in the football game, but I think at this point pretty much game is decided. Challengers starting to see a few other guys out there on defense for them.
So it'll be 1st and 10. Ball at the Lancers' own 49-yard line. And trying to take off and run with it is Logan. Logan gets out across midfield before being taken out of bounds. We got Mendo there along with Ashton Moody and Christopher Fralick.
Yep, but plethora of challengers chasing him out of bounds there. Looks like he got about 3 yards.
So, Hefe, would you say they have a plethora?
Oh, yes, I would say so.
And taking the direct snap there is Logan. Logan's got running room. He's going to take it up the sideline and pick up another Lancer first down.
Yeah, nice run by him that time. Picks up about 20 yards on the carry, and one of the better runs of the day for Logan. And the South Umpqua now with 141 yards rushing in this football game, but you know, again, the 185 yard sure helps inflate that number.
So Jacob Logan along with David Logan in the backfield. And they're going to go ahead and direct snap to David Logan. He's got some running room before Derek Farmer runs him out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. So that'll set up a 1st and goal for the Lancers. With 8:14 left to go in the ball game. And we got a timeout on the field. And thus, we will take one. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Thanks for the ride. I'll see you after the game.
Hey, Dear Katie, I've been your #1 fan since I watched your first game all those years ago. And I still love watching you play. But I wanted to see you win so badly that my competitive nature got the best of me. I lost track of what's important. I thought I was supporting you, but I was really just embarrassing you. I'm not your coach, and I'm not an official. I forgot my role. I'm your parent, and you deserve better. From here on, I promise to keep my emotions under control. I'll cheer for you and all the other players, no matter the score, no matter the outcome. Thank you for sharing with me how I can do a better job of supporting you, your team, your coaches, and the sports you love. Still your #1 fan. Love, Dad.
That'll be a 1st and goal.
And again, we got Logan and Logan in the backfield.
Yes, Jacob Logan wearing number 10. David Logan, number 20. Jacob will take it, tries to power his way forward.
Looks like he got about 3 yards.
Inside the 5. So that'll bring up a 2nd and goal down about the 4. So I've been seeing Earls here on the sideline. They're just pretty much making no bones about what they're going to do here in terms of.
I don't think they have any intention of throwing the football here.
In motion is Benefel. Logan trying to find some running room to try to power his way in.
Quarterback power right there. Looks like he got about a yard.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down and goal.
Well, and you know they're going to go for it on 4th if they don't make it here.
Oh, you know they will. And then Jacob try to go ahead and take it to the outside.
And he gets in for the touchdown from 3 yards out.
So Jacob Logan.
Although, wait a minute. What's going on? There's a lot of whistles being blown. Is there a flag down?
Well, we'll show the replay and then we'll.
Touchdown after the touchdown. Personal foul unsportsmanlike against South Umpqua. So there'll be a penalty on the kickoff.
Oh, boy. So it is 34-12. Your score.
At this time, we'd like to give recognition to our wonderful cheerleaders.
And coming in, it looks like they're going to go ahead and, well, we got Loudon, Cole, and Earls checking in. I'm going to assume that they're going to go for 2, but...
Yeah, I would assume so as well.
So it'll be Earls there in the backfield along with Jacob Logan. Loudon Cole, slot to the left. He goes in motion. Earls throws the ball.
And it's incomplete.
And it falls incomplete.
And once again, the Lancers are led by head coach Stephanie.
So, with 7:01 left to go in the ball game, South Umpqua gets a touchdown on the board. We'll take a timeout and be back in 60 seconds.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Any time is a good time to plan your funeral, except at the time of the funeral. At Conger Morris, we know that there are so many advantages to planning ahead. It eases the burden on our families at their worst time. Pre-planning also alleviates their stress, knowing the funeral costs are already taken care of. And it allows your service to be more meaningful, with all of your wishes being taken care of. Call us today for personalized assistance in creating your own plan. Conger Morris, we'll always be there.
We have one more cheerleader. Put your hands together for Jasmine Carls.
Final and 11.
6-5 Texas, yes.
So we were just looking at the scoreboard here. So it's really interesting. I just heard from executive producer Joe Brett, and the length of this game. We're here at 9:25. He said he was catching up with us. He thought, you still show third quarter on the board. It's like, well, because it is. It's been a long game tonight.
Fourth quarter now, finally, but
yeah,
yeah, it's been an awful long game. A lot of passes thrown especially by the challengers. You know, we mentioned it. They threw, in the first half. In the first half, they threw 25 times, so that's a lot of passes.
Yes. Meanwhile, Wilson picks it up and runs with it. He gets out past midfield, across the 45, down to the 43. And that's where the challengers will take over, leading by 22 with 6:54 left to go in the ball game. And
now, if you're the challengers, you'd like to be able to run the football, but they really haven't been able to do that very well tonight. Just 73 yards, on the ground so far for the challengers. They've had to throw it to get the first downs, as the Lancers have done a good job against the run.
Meanwhile, running out and running through, powering through, Christopher Freilich. So he picks up a nice chunk of yardage.
Yeah, 25 yards on the play, and that's that slant, that little slant that they faked. It's an option read. Nice job again by Moody, faking the handoff, pulling it out, and then throwing the slant. That little read option play that has really been effective against the challengers. That one goes for 25 yards to Freilich.
So that'll put the challengers once again in the red zone. 6:34 and counting left to go in the ball game.
And now, altogether, the challengers have thrown it 37 times in this game, Jim. 37. I think that's got to be close to a record.
It has to be. timeout called. And
by the Challengers. That's their second, I believe.
So 6:13 left to go. The Challenger Brain Trust and the team's going to talk it over here. Today's game is brought to you in part by Avista Utilities and our friends from Pinnacle 365. Use your peak rewards to save on gas and snacks on your next road trip with the team. The home of crispy, crunchy chicken, Pinnacle 365. So we'll wait this weekend, and then we'll see how all the rankings and shake out and where the teams end up.
Yeah, the Challengers should be in the top 4, which means basically that they'll get a home game in the first and second rounds. Obviously, if they win their first round game, they'll get a home game on the second round game. So Challengers now over 300 yards is what I have them unofficially passing the football. Oops. And we have the second group out there, and they take a snap and fall down. So
that'll bring up a second down, and that'll be a loss of about 4 yards on the play.
Looks like Skag out there playing quarterback, and he just slipped and lost about 4 or 5 yards there on that one.
Count 5:44 as the clock continues to whittle away on the evening. Scaglione runs into a sea of black, but stubbornly keeps his feet.
And probably gets back about to the line of scrimmage, so he makes back those 5 yards that he lost.
So that'll bring up a third down and long, and the ball spotted it at the 25-yard line of South Umpqua. And you see
Moody still limping around a little bit.
Yeah.
Not exactly sure what he has that's bothering him, but you can definitely see it is. Hopefully he can get that healthy here in the next little bit.
Yes.
And you can start to see how muddy the field really is as you see some of those jerseys out there not white anymore.
Moody out of the shotgun, Wilson in motion. And they try to get it to Scaglione, but you can kind of tell this field just kind of taking away, negating some of that Challenger speed.
Yeah, that time Skag's nowhere to go as one of the South Umpqua linebackers blitzes in from the outside, and they had the right blitz called against the right play.
And so that'll bring up fourth down.
And 12 or 13, and the Challengers don't really care. They just want to run the clock anyway. 4 minutes and change here in the fourth quarter.
Moody dropping back, looking to throw, looking toward the end zone. Touchdown, Challengers.
And that's Luke Wilson again.
Or is that Luke Nelson?
The 20-yard touchdown pass from Moody to Wilson. And the Challengers are back on the board again.
And I'm just amazed, I think about tonight, width is like that way that it is. The toughness of Ashton Moody. Because you got to know when you're throwing on one bad leg, that is not an easy play to make.
Wilson, though, with the quickness, getting open and doing a nice job there.
And Mason Hoffman will come in to attempt the point after.
They're bound and determined to make one of these.
I'm sure he's thinking that sometimes it's like, are you sure? And the whistle blows.
I think it's a false start, so he'll get to try it from a little further back.
Had a little degree of difficulty to it. So the discussion continues.
They know I got to drive to Bend tonight, so they're just trying to make this game longer.
Yeah, that's not a short trip from here. And
they're going to pick the flag up.
After all that.
Well, and I imagine maybe it was against South Umpqua, and maybe the challenger didn't want to move. You know, when you're kicking an extra point, it's from an extra point. What's the point?
Right.
So. And we have a good snap for a change, and we got one through.
It's amazing how that works.
Yeah, well, when you get a good snap, you can make those extra points, and that makes it 41-12.
So we've got 3:52 left to go in the ball game. Challengers lead 41-12. We'll be right back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever? Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bros in you.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
3:52 left to go in the ball game. Challengers put more on the board as Ashton Moody throws the touchdown pass to Luke Wilson. And now Fianaka will kick it away. And it'll be Jacob Logan. Logan getting his lion's share of work this evening. And, well, with the Lancers on offense, I'm sure we'll see just a little bit more.
It seems like it's been the Logan show here in the fourth quarter at least. And they managed to get another touchdown, kind of just running the football with the two Logans in the backfield.
3:46 left to go. With this, the Lancers would go to 6-3. The Challengers would wrap up their schedule at 9-0. At the rate we're going here, Mark, we might have the scores from all the other games by the time we get done here.
We just might.
On first down, they're going to go ahead and run it up the middle of the field. Loudon Cole gets a carry. He gets it across the 40-yard line up to the 44.
Yeah, nice job by Cole on a little inside handoff.
So they'll move the ball up to the 43-yard line.
Lancers now 186 yards on the ground. Might get to 200 before this one's over. But again, the Challenger defense has really been solid all season long.
Logan carry and forward momentum. Takes him just past the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up a second down and 8.
That's 16 running plays to only 2 passing plays for South Umpqua here in the second half. So they've really tried to establish the run here in the second half.
Earl's hands off.
That's Loudon Cole again.
Cole, one of those Lancer receiver and defensive backs. And he's had quite a career here at South Umpqua, being part of a team that finished second in the state 2 years ago. and has had built a tradition of winning football once again here in the Myrtle Creek area. And the ball off. Brendan Van Wart. There, also there for Cascade Christian, Luke Wilson.
Yeah, no gain, which makes it 4th down and about 2 for the Lancers here. Clock running, 1:40 to go here in the football game.
Got 3 men in the backfield now. And once again, it is Loudon Cole. He gets quickly wrapped up at the line of scrimmage.
And I think that's going to be a turnover on downs for the Lancers, and the Challengers get it back. We'll probably to take a couple of knees, and that should end the football game.
1:26 left to go as the Challengers come back out offensively. So for Cascade Christian, that'll be their, if memory serves me correct, their 21st consecutive victory. And no 2 wins have come harder than the games that they played against South Umpqua these last couple of years. I mean, the score shows a pretty convincing Challenger win, but it didn't come easy.
No, it certainly didn't, and the defense, though, was the difference in the game. The Challengers really struggled offensively, especially down in the red zone area tonight, but the defense was solid all night, just giving up 1 score in each half, and the Challengers got some short fields thanks to their defense and turned a few of those into points, not as many as they would have liked, but you know, all in all, it's a win's a win, and Challengers came in here and did what they needed to do to help their ranking and also you know, keep the momentum going as they go into the playoffs now. South Umpqua, I believe, will also be in the playoffs. They'll have to go on the road, though, next week. And that should do it for the ball game.
Clock winding down and pleasantries being exchanged between the 2 teams. All over but the shouting as we put the wraps on the regular season for the 2023 campaign. The Cascade Christian Challengers defeat the South Umpqua Lancers as the siren sounds. We'll take a quick timeout. When we return, we'll bring your post-game wrap-up, sponsored by the Southern Oregon Sports Commission's Know Your Role campaign. That'll be coming up after these messages.
So what do you do when a loved one has been wrongfully injured or killed? It's simple. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Pick it up. Let's go. Come on. Defense. Defense. What am I teaching you at home? Has this kid played before? Shoot it. Oh. Ah. Come on, ref. Open your eyes. Can't you see out there? So, which one's your kid?
The referee.
You can be a parent, athlete, coach, or an official, but you can only be one. Know your role.
So what do you do when you can't work because you were injured on the job? Easy. Just go to letusfightforyou.com. That's it. Letusfightforyou.com, helping Oregonians get justice for over 40 years.
Welcome to the Southern Oregon Sports Commission's Know Your Role campaign post-game show here on TableRockSports.net. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from tonight's ball game. The Challengers scored first thanks to a 5-yard run by Caleb Scaglione. He'll take the handoff from Moody. Right side of that offensive line does a good job of giving him an opening. And he puts the Challengers on the board first.
Oh.
Then, Challengers go to the air, and they went to the air a lot. Ashton Moody here, connecting with Caleb Scaglione on a 23-yard strike. The 2-point conversion attempt, good, to make the score 14-0. Then South Umpqua would answer with a big play run. It was Jacob Logan exploding from the scrum. He runs at 85 yards for the touchdown. The point after attempt unsuccessful. Make it a 14-6 ball game, and that was our score at halftime. Then in the third quarter, with 8:03 to go, it was Ashton Moody going to the air once again, and I think here, not sure what happened here, but we'll skip past this, and then we'll give you the highlight we're looking for. Here we go. Ashton Moody taking the snap, pump fakes, throws. Once again, to go to the corner of the end zone. That looks like Caleb Scaglione with a second touchdown catch of the evening. And the Challengers begin to get some separation. Then on a nifty play from Ashton Moody to Christopher Freilich, the Challengers, a little slant play, 18-yard play, 2-point conversion attempt, no good, to make it 28-6. Here's the play here. There's Freilich. Freilich, once he makes that catch, there's nobody there, and he'll outrun the posse for the touchdown. Then with a score 28-6, it would be the Challengers scoring, and then to just go ahead and wrap it all up because it looks like you got the stats ready. Logan would score on a 3-yard touchdown run, 2-point conversion attempt, no good. And then finally it was Ashton Moody on a 20-yard touchdown pass to Luke Wilson. And when it was all said and done, it was the Challengers 41 and the Lancers 12.
Yeah, a nice job by the Challengers of doing what they needed to do to get themselves set up for this playoff run that's coming next. And hopefully they can get healthy because you can see there's a few guys out there limping around and hobbling around. So the Challengers, going to play a playoff game next week, and hopefully they can get healthy and get ready for that and advance further into the playoffs. But a good effort by them tonight. And I would say the one caveat to that was their red zone efficiency wasn't very good. And they did have 2 turnovers on downs in the first half and another one in the third quarter to give them 3 on the night. That's unfortunate for them. Really could have put the game away a lot earlier had they converted on some of those opportunities. For South Umpqua to finish the game out, they ended up with just 6 first downs, and most of those on the ground. They ran the ball 34 times for 195 yards. But passing game was non-existent, as unfortunately Earls just 3 for 11 for 3 yards in the entire game. So between running and passing, South Umpqua had 198 yards, 60 yards of return yards for 258 total offense yards for the Lancers in the ball game. They had 9 penalties for 85 yards, and that was their summary. So they struggled offensively, but they had some really good defensive plays that kept the Challengers out of the end zone, and those 3 turnovers on downs that I mentioned previously. The Challengers ended the game with 16 first downs. They ran the ball 22 times for just 70 yards, so that you could tell the Lancers, really focused on controlling the run game. Moody, however, 23 for 38 for 306 yards tonight. So one of the first times recently, in recent memory anywhere, where I can remember a Challenger passer going over 300 yards. I think we could go back and see some Hayden Shawn games where he probably went over 300 yards. But
right.
More recent memory, the Challengers have been a lot more balanced with the run and the pass. But tonight, Moody with the 306 yards passing. Challengers with 70 yards in returns, and total offense for Cascade Christian, 446 yards. They had 8 penalties for 80 yards, which I'm sure is going to be discussed by the Brain Trust, as that's a lot of penalties, especially in the first half. They only had 1 in the second half, which was interesting to me as well. But the game got out of hand, and I guess maybe the flags stuck in the pockets or something like that anyway. Or maybe like adjustments were made, one or the other. It was a lot fewer penalties, or only 4 penalties in the second half, and there were 13 in the first half. So anyway, just a interesting contrast there between the first and second half from a penalty standpoint. Anyway, so a nice job by the Challengers. They get it done. They get done what they needed to. They should move up, well, at least stay at number 4, or hopefully move up a spot or 2 in the rankings, and really position themselves well for having those first 2 games be at home.
Absolutely. Well, that'll wrap things up here from Myrtle Creek at Kent Weigel Field, and we thank you for watching today's broadcast. Our thanks to South Umpqua High School Athletic Director Thomas Armstrong for hosting the Lithia Superstore Game of the Night on TableRockSports.net. And today's broadcast, our special thanks to head coaches Steve Stebbins and John Getman. Our next Table Rock Sports production featuring Challenger football will be, well, most likely a week from tonight, and we do know it'll be at Lithia Driveway Field in Medford. Again, the final score on the John L. Scott scoreboard shows the Challengers 41 and the South Umpqua Lancers 12. This has been a special presentation of Table Rock Sports. Our executive producer is Joe Brett, with Mark McLemore and Johnny McCoy. I'm Jim McCoy saying thanks for watching, and good night from Myrtle Creek at South Umpqua High School in Myrtle Creek, Oregon.